Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly crafty master today, because today we're going to be kicking off actually a brand new, perhaps mini campaign, perhaps extended campaign, we don't know yet. But it is a campaign nonetheless, where we're going to be playing Crafty Games' outstanding fantasy RPG, and we will be using it to play in the Midnight setting, originally published by Fantasy Flight Games, currently published by Edge Studios. We are going to be using as a starting point for our campaign going to be the second edition rulebook. Truth told, I don't know the difference between this first edition and the current Rebirth or Reborn or whatever it's called edition. I just happen to own the 3.5 version, and 3.5 is the edition that converts nicest and not the most well over to FantasyCraft. So I will say as well that we are going to be using this as inspiration, not text. So if you are a Midnight fan, we're not going to be changing. It's still going to be a dark fantasy setting and whatnot, but I'm not intending on relying on any other books other than the core book for this. And we're not really, if we need to change something to fit our campaign, we will be doing so. So if you are a Midnight purist, we may be going off script in some ways from that setting. But in any event, let me introduce you to, today is going to be session 0 for setting up this campaign. And I'll go the order. We've got our stalwart players, the stars of this campaign. Guys, why don't you tell us who you are and what's your experience with the Midnight setting? First up is John.
Oh, I'm first. Okay. Hello, I'm John, and I have 0 experience with the Midnight setting. Well, did we play it once in like a Demon Lord game? Maybe
I've never run Midnight before.
Okay.
No.
So yeah, no experience. I did peruse a book a little bit. It sounds nice and dark and threatening.
Very nice. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and my experiences with Midnight is you describing it to us before we decided to play it.
Nice. And last but certainly not least is our resident armor smith, Dave.
Hey everyone, I'm Dave, and I have about as much experience as John and Jeff, so yeah, right up there.
Excellent. Okay. So what I thought we'd do today, and for those listening at home who want to kind of, either if you're watching this later and you want to skip through, we're going to talk a little bit about the setting first. Then we're going to talk about the kinds of campaigns we can play in the setting and see what kind of sensibilities you guys want to have with the setting, because there's different approaches we can take to it. Then we're going to talk about your character concepts. So what kind of character you'd like to play, what kind of group we want to play, and then we'll finally build the characters using FantasyCraft, because the FantasyCraft suggested approach, because there's so many options and so many possibilities with it, is create an idea for your character first, and then go from there to figure out how to make that reality within the setting. So what I thought I would do, I was reading the background stuff on the setting earlier this week. One thing I'll say is that because we're using FantasyCraft, I'm more interested in just playing FantasyCraft with this setting than trying to make FantasyCraft fit all the mechanics of what's in the Midnight book. If we wanted to play that, we would play 3.5. So there are certain things about the Midnight setting where the way you would build characters in that, we're just going to ignore for the purpose of this. Like, there's a heroic background. One of the assumptions about the game in the 3.5 version is that your characters have kind of been like selected by the world to try and fight back against the shadow. And as a result of that, you've got abilities that the average person doesn't have. Well, you already have that in FantasyCraft because of the way they treat NPCs and player characters, right? There's the regular or standard characters, and there's the extras. But what I thought I'd do is give you a little excerpts here from 2 parts of the sort of large kind of background and history of it, to give you a sense of a broad overview and what age we find ourselves in now. So the first thing is a world in shadow. In the ageless time before the dawn of history, there was a war in heaven. In desperation, the Lords of Light severed the black spirit of the dark god Isrador, casting him out of the celestial kingdom. The gods succeeded in vanquishing their brother, but Isrador corrupted their magic and turned their victory against them. As the fallen god's spirit was severed from his physical form, so too was the celestial kingdom severed from all contact with the material realm. The Lords of Light discovered that they could no longer commune with their mortal children. This cataclysm shook the foundations of the world and came to be known as the Sundering. The Dark One fell to earth, his foul essence staining the land with its evil shadow. Weakened and bodiless, Isrador retreated to the ice and cold of the far north. There he slumbered, slowly recovering his strength and dreaming of vengeance across aeons of time. Empires were built and crumbled to dust. Races were born and died, and the shadow in the north grew deeper and darker. 3 times the Dark God rose and threatened the nations of Aerith with iron and fire. The first time, he was defeated by a proud host of elves, dwarves, and Dornish men led by Aradil, the Witch Queen. The second time, races of good held the shadow off long enough for aid to come from an unlooked-for ally. By the time of his third rising, the free peoples of Eredane were battered, bitter, and distracted by their own infighting, as well as by the insidious corruption sown by the Dark God's spies over the years. 4 of the land's greatest heroes fell prey to his dark promises and betrayed their people, leading his hordes from the north. This time, the Dark God won. The dwarven clans were broken and retreated to their holdfasts deep within the earth. The elves withdrew into their vast and ancient forest, abandoning all to the shadow. The Dorns, tamed by a power from across the sea in the Second Age, were betrayed from within and fell swiftly. 100 years have passed since the shadow fell. The elder races, those of good heart and fey ancestry, who have battled Isrador for a millennia, are being systematically hunted down and exterminated. The great forest of Erethdor has become an island of light in a darkening world, its elven keepers fighting a never-ending battle against besieging hordes of orcs, giants, and goblinoids. The surviving dwarven clans have locked themselves in their mountain holdfasts, and the streets of once proud subterranean cities have become meat grinders for the orcs who are sent in to root them out. The lands of men are ruled with an iron fist by the minions of the shadow. Cities lie in ruins, and the commoners in isolated towns lock their gates against the darkness each night. Literacy, magic, and weapons are illegal, and ignorance spreads across the land like a terrible plague. So that is the broad strokes background of our setting. There's one more little tidbit I want to read. This is about the last age. The fall of Arenland marked the end of the Third Age, ushering in this time of war, death, and despair that the scholars ominously call the last age of Eredane. The human lands have been fully subjugated. The last human insurgents are being systematically eliminated by the agents of the shadow. The old principalities of Erenland have been divided among the legates of the Order of Shadow, who rule through corrupt human pawns. Travel has been restricted. Trade with the Fae, literacy, and the use of magic of any kind have become capital crimes. Those gnomes or halflings that fail to escape to the mountains or into Erethdor have been enslaved, and a pogrom against the remaining Fae is underway. Any elves or dwarves foolish enough to be discovered in the conquered lands are killed on sight. As Isridor's eastern armies move deeper into the Caladrun Mountains, the dwarves retreat into their ancient holdfasts. Their savage warriors and clever engineers turn every pass, hall, tunnel, and mine into a brutal killing zone. They set murderous traps, lay bloody ambushes, and make crippling raids. Every advance of the invaders is earned at a deadly cost, and the last stand frenzy of the dwarven warriors has turned them into a terrible foe of which orc soldiers now grow truly afraid. In the west, the forest of Erythor itself stands against the hordes of Isridor. Through her avatars, Aradil fights at the head of her armies, steadfastly holding the invaders at bay, though in her deepest heart she despairs for her people. The Whispering Wood gives warning of orc advances, and elven archers and battle mages cast death upon the invaders. Patrols are slaughtered by dire animals, which then vanish back into the forest. Enchanted thickets of poisonous plants trap Isridor's troops, yet readily part for the elven forces. Despite the resolve of those fey defenders, they have ultimately lost the war. They are hopelessly outnumbered, and for every orc killed, 3 more join the fight. Food, weapons, and equipment from the human realms supply the enemy lines. The dark magic of the legates supports their advance, and the elemental forces of dragons support their attacks. Battle by battle, skirmish by skirmish, soldier by soldier, the armies of Isridor drive the elves and dwarves deeper into their refuges, taking heavy tolls on their numbers and their hope. It is now the 99th year of the last age. A shadow covers the land. Faith has fled. Freedom is lost. Hope is gone. The dark god has risen, and the world is his. Who will stand against him? So that is the setting of Midnight. I have a map for you guys here.
I'm just gonna quit and go sleep. We're doomed.
This is Eridane.
Isn't that what Death Watch is, Dave?
Yeah. The north, here in the Vale of Tears, is sort of where the shadow came from. Erythor is the ancient forest home of the elves. The Witch Queen has ruled the elves since the First Age. So it is thousands of years that she has been here, and for thousands of years she has feared the coming of the shadow. She and her preparations were one of the reasons that they were able to defeat the shadow the first time he came. The second time he came was after a second group of humans. One group of humans, the Dorns, arrived. If you think very kind of Viking-like, or like the North in Game of Thrones, very much what the Dorns are like. They're largely settled in northern Arenland. The Sarkozans, I believe, is the second human race. They came from the same continent, Peluria, that the Dorns originally came from. But the Dorns fled the empire that the Sarkozans had set up. There was a war between the Sarkozans and the Dorns that did end when the two of them allied against the Empire back on Peluria. They drove that empire back and formed a new unified kingdom called Arenland. There are still ethnically distinct Dorns, ethnically distinct Sarkozans, and there are mixed race folks who are just called Arenlanders. For the purpose of this, we're just going to use the default human rules. So if you're playing a human, that is the kind of character you're going to play. The Caladrun Mountains are right here. This is where the dwarves are. You may have picked up there was a lot of talk about the Fae in what I read you. When I say Fae, think demi-human. Anytime it's referring to any kind of non-human player character race you would see in other games, like halflings, like gnomes, like elves, like dwarves, then that's what you're talking about. One unusual thing about the setting, the Fae are free to crossbreed and whatnot. There are not crossbred with humans. So there are elf, halfling mixed race individuals. There are dwarf and elf mixed race individuals because they're all descended from the Fae who were trapped here after the fall of Isrador. But there isn't the kind of like half elf or, you know, mule or half dwarf that you would see in other games. There are half orcs, which may give some hint as to their origin. Now, we don't have any dwarves in earshot, right? Because what I'm going to tell you is something that would get an axe buried in my head. Would that any dwarves overheard this? But it's sort of accepted that the orcs are descendants of one side of a civil war that lost in the Caladrun Mountains and found home in the Vale of Tears, where they were warped by the shadow in the north and became something wholly unlike their ancestors. Now, obviously, I would never suggest to any dwarf that they are related by blood to the orcs. But what I will tell you is that no one in all of Eridane hates one another more than the orcs and the dwarves. Now, that is not to say that all orcs are evil, necessarily. You can play orc characters. You can play half-orc characters, which are called dwarves, I believe. And they are half a dwarf parent and an orc parent. You can imagine how complicated that childhood would be. But they're not something that is like mystically controlled by it. They are led by their leaders, they are led by circumstances, and they are lied to by the shadow. So, like any character, you can have characters who come to find good. Because of the Sundering, there is no communication with any god other than Isrador. The Order of Shadow is the only kind of like cleric or whatnot, or what we would recognize as divine magic. But there are other ways to work types of magic in the setting, because when the Sundering happened, not only were there certain spirits that were trapped within Eridane, there are also, or in Aerith, I guess, is the name of the whole planet and setting, but there's also things that fell with Isrador, things allied with him, things that were fighting against him. So there are also other powerful spirits and their places of power. And some of those can only embody themselves in the world by taking over a body. So characters that have like Tiefling or, you know, Azamar style backgrounds, that's all possible as well because of the way that the spirits manifest in here. Magic is a creation. Arcane magic, at least, is a creation of the elves, but it has spread. Apart from the elves, the ones who are typically, or have been in the past, more gifted with it are actually the halflings. The halflings are some of the most gifted spellcasters. There are also multiple kind of like subspecies of elves. So half elves, high elves, jungle elves, sea elves, snow elves. So you got a wide variety of different types of characters you can play with that as well. The downside is any Fae or Fae-blooded is not only going to be targeted by the legates, the agents of the Order of Shadow, and their minions. You also may have people who are going to turn you in for it because they fear them. It has been 100 years. That is 4 generations of humans that have been lied to by the Shadow. So they may believe that that whatever lies that the Order of Shadow told them, they may wholeheartedly cling to those as gospel truths. The land is largely broken, but there are pockets of resistance in many places. So I guess the first thing is, do you guys have any questions about anything we've talked about thus far about the setting?
No.
Are there good ways to use the shadow magic, or is it predominantly bad?
So you cannot use like the divine power of Isrador. You don't get that without being a member of the Order of Shadow. You don't become a member of the Order of Shadow without serving the Shadow in the North.
Okay, so there's not some way to like secretly be a good guy.
No. Well, so the gnomes, for instance, who are kind of like a riverine folk in this setting, they're also fae, but they're largely like their whole thing is like traveling up and down rivers or whatnot. They are kind of universally despised by anyone in the Resistance because they are among the most obvious non-human collaborators with the enemy. But what most people do not know is that they're also the ones who smuggle people out, and they're the ones who work to try and undermine the expansion of the Shadow subtly by letting things go wrong or having delays. Or so they occupy a complicated place where they are not hunted and enslaved the way the halflings are, but or hunted and killed the way the elves and the dwarves are. But you can play a spellcaster. Like that is one thing that in the default like 3.0, 3.5 rules, one of the things you pick on top of your class is something special about your character, whether that's like beast blood or a blessing of some powerful spirit or some other unusual thing, something that sets your character apart. While the setting itself is extremely black, seems to teeter on the edge. It's not even teetering on the edge of defeat. It's gonna fucking fall. But the land itself, rather than the gods, because they have been sealed off for thousands of years, the land itself seems to be supporting folk taking up arms against them. One thing I will say about the spellcasters, though, if you are a magic user, one of the most common types of legates you will encounter are folks who have creatures that can sniff out the use of magic.
Because they said that if you use magic, that's like a capital offense.
Use of magic is a capital offense. Literacy is a capital offense. Having weapons is a capital offense. If you think of sort of the complicated moral dynamics of like occupied France during World War II,
yeah, I was just thinking about that.
That's precise. It's a good touchstone.
The gnomes are like the Underground Railroad or people smuggling.
Yeah,
Jews
in a way. And there's also it also means that there are some folk who, either because they do not know any better or because they are scared or because they're greedy and want to profit, or some combination of those factors, people will betray heroes too. Heroes who come in, even if you're dealing with things, for instance, the dead spirits have nowhere to go. So since I believe it's the end of the Second Age, the dead, if you don't bury them properly, they come back. So one of the things when our massive armies clash that you have to deal with is also undisposed of bodies that rise and come back as the fell. And they perpetuate their existence by consuming living things. So it may seem like it's a hopeless setting, but that's not necessarily the case. For one, your characters are going to stand apart in terms of capabilities and how you choose to fight back against the shadow and what that looks like, whether it's organizing, whether it's finding ancient treasures, whether it is trying to find other, groups, whether it's just trying to keep your home safe. That's the stuff that we want to figure out what we want to do, because that'll inform what kind of character concepts you want to play with.
No, I'd like that whole idea of like dead don't have anywhere to go, and that's why you have undead. It's
pretty cool. Like it's a really, really interesting setting. I'd read the first edition 20 years ago ish, more than that. But I didn't get the second edition, and then I never followed with any of the products. But it's a neat idea. The other thing I should mention is that while the shadow has fallen everywhere, it is not equal everywhere, and it is almost always ununified. The Shadow's most powerful agents are the 4 Night Kings. They fucking hate one another.
Yes.
And that carries all the way down through their order. Rival legates will hate one another. Legates and their minions will likely hate one another. So there is all sorts of opportunities where, the benefit of your enemy's enemy means a victory potentially for you as well. So it is a very complex place. And as you can imagine too, depending on what the other people value, that may also determine how willing they are to help you or work with you. And again, for the humans who make up most of the eastern regions here, 4 generations with nobody acting as a hero, because if you act as a hero, you draw the attention of the legates, and they will find some reason to slap you back down. There's some great little shout out examples of vignettes from the world throughout the introduction of the book, and that's the kind of thing that happens to these people. So what represents a victory for your characters can be like a full-on fight where you're defeating people. It can also be just enough to protect people from when the legates come calling for a culling, or helping them make sure that they're going to have enough to pay the tithe that the legates are going to take and still survive a winter, because the people who are servants of the shadow, they don't give a shit whether you survive. And then on top of that, monsters, spirits, demons, undead, all these things still bedevil these people. And I can guarantee you that the legates do not give a shit whether that hurts them or not. So, any further questions? So, then I guess the next thing is, what kind of game do we want to play? Do you want to have something that's focused more on a specific area? Do you want to have it an event that brings you guys together? Because one of the things this is not the kind of campaign, kind of setting, obviously, where you meet at a tavern. There is more that drives the heroes in Midnight than filthy lucre, right? You're not trying to do this for the money. You are doing this because you wish to fight the shadow. So what's the reason for that, do you think? What brings you guys together? Is there a shared tragedy? And the thing to bear in mind as well is where you are likely to have come from. Maybe there's somebody who still could read, who was taught by their grandfather, who read to you stories of the Second Age and the glory of the Kingdom of Aaron. I think I'm going to look it up. I think it says Aaronland, but I thought it had a different. Arathor is the. It is Aaronland. Okay, the Kingdom of Aaronland is the unified one from the Casmel Sea to the Northern Marches. It stretched the entire distance. There are knights in the setting. This is a medieval setting. There is no black powder, so for a fantasy craft purposes, we're going to kind of ignore the Age of Reason stuff that is in there. So, like, no musketeers, no whatever. But otherwise, your kind of like high medieval period, or perhaps a little bit beyond that, is all fine.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this, maybe, because rather than focusing on a specific type of setting, what kind of heroes sound interesting to you guys right now?
Yeah, maybe we should say our concepts, because it might lead to a sparking event or whatever.
Okay, what are you guys thinking?
I had a couple of ideas, so I'd like to hear what Jeff and John are saying.
Sure. So my concept is a little bit based on one of my childhood friends, Vern. So sort of a hothead, probably like barbarian style fighter, like, you know, anger based a little bit, but like can't stand a bully. And because he's tough and because he can fight, if he sees someone smaller getting picked on, it's always, you know, oh, you want to fight someone? And, you know, he's willing to step in and be like, no, you're not fighting that little guy there. You're fighting me now. So like that sort of concept of can't stand a bully, quick to, you know, not necessarily quick to anger, but like anger at seeing that sort of, you know, the people being bullied. And so he's going to step in. So sort of that's a spark that's going to lead to, you know, the game moving forward, is he's not going to be able to stand by and see this stuff. And I think that's sort of what's driven him to become a hero or be a part of something, depending on where this heads. But that's the concept I have.
I'm nodding along because I've met Vern, and Vern has stepped in and saved my ass at one point too. So
he's
a fucking great
dude.
dude.
Who knows him, it's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny because the character concept I was thinking about was on the opposite end of the spectrum, always bullied, always trying to pick up bigger weapons in order to fight back against people coming at him.
I mean,
defending the little ones when nobody else is there for him.
And that's a natural fitting, I think, between the two characters who... So, and what type of, like, do you have an idea for, like, character class or capabilities your character might have, John?
I definitely want him to be a bit of a scrapper, but not so much as like a big burly one, but more dexterous. But the reason he never got that strong is because he has a wellspring of magic that he's been trying to hide, and it just brings people to start bullying him. And then, you know, because, you know, I kind of want to go towards like melee with a mix of magic in there. Not a lot of magic, but
it's worth noting here the legates come around and they fucking sniff around trying to find kids who are gifted with it.
Yeah, and
because like they
try to hide.
So that there may be something there that we could build on too between the two.
And maybe the solidifying thing between Jeff's character and mine is Legates almost found me, and he managed to like bully them off to get them away from me.
If you're both playing humans, are you guys related?
That'd be cool. I'd want to play a human.
Yeah, I'm definitely playing a human, so yeah, we could be related.
Which is an interesting... There's an obvious sort of like little brother, big brother thing there, but it also could be an interesting reverse, where the older brother is the, you know, scrawnier magic one, and the younger brother is the one who's like, "What did you fucking say?"
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Jeff, how does that sound to you?
Yeah, I like that.
Dave, does that help with pick from any of the ideas you were thinking about?
Yeah, so the two that I had I had three, but I don't think one of them fits very well. And that would have been kind of like knightly. So if you're, you know, bearing arms gets you in trouble, and you're probably not going to have any sort of like wealth or anything like that if you're downtrodden. So the knightly one I'll probably put it aside. The other one was looking at like kind of something nature, like maybe someone who'd been, as you were talking, I was thinking about like maybe a human who's had dealings with the elves and learned some nature ways and kind of druidic or shaman or something to...
So one thing I'll point out is that in Fantasycraft, like especially if you're playing a human, it's 3 different factors that go into making the specific character that you have. So you often have an opportunity to make some unconventional pairings of different things. And the reason I mention that is because in the setting, one of the things that sort of is still going on is one of the resistance movements that's still like being eliminated or whatnot. There are still some fucking knights, you know, who are out in and like they're living rough and whatever else, and they're fighting the forces of shadow, or at least just trying to survive. It's not inconceivable that they would be supported by elves who have long memories of having stood with the humans against the shadow. So perhaps there's, you know, you could have had a little bit of both. Maybe you're a, you know, and as far as for starting characters, you guys are going to be broke. Like the gear that you guys started with in the other times we played Fantasycraft is consistent with what you actually are able to buy. You get shitty armor, you get shitty arms, and you get, you know, maybe some other stuff. So it's quite possible that for 99 years of losing conflict, what you've inherited is some knightly-esque type stuff, but also you've got some ruggedness with the support that you get from whoever your elven allies may have been.
Yeah.
Well, so the knightly idea was like just some kid who's been brought up on tales of ancestors who were noble and did good things, and he's aspiring to making the world better in some way. And but then I also was thinking that the third concept was someone who's just been kicked so hard so many times he just doesn't give a F anymore, and it's like, I'll beg, borrow, steal, cut someone's throat, I don't care what I have to do, but it's going to come out of the pockets of the bad guys kind of thing.
Okay, so you're like fighting against the shadow because you just want to take from them.
Yeah, like just tired of seeing people I know getting the short end of the stick, and I'm not going to fight back by standing in line and you know, wearing a sword and a shield and fighting. And it would be more like, I'm just going to gut some guy as he's taking a piss, and, you know, some more roguish activity.
By some guy, though, you mean the shadow, right?
Yeah, like the bad guys.
Okay. Because that's the one thing, like, this setting in particular, there are going to be so many just, you know, either bad people or people in bad circumstances who are just really shitty to one another. The idea for the heroes in Midnight is that they stand as a contrast to that. So just I'm not sure. You could make a morally questionable character work in this, but I just don't know why you would do that in a setting as like pitch black as this one. To make the characters really stand out and give them a reason for doing the things they're doing, you have them as heroic characters, right?
Yeah.
So okay, awesome. What type of capabilities are you thinking for your character? It was a roguish type. I mean, that could be anything from, you know, a military trained, you know, type, to the classic sneaky burglar type, to the assassin, which is a class.
There's an assassin?
There is an assassin class, as opposed to a burglar.
Yeah.
How would you tie in half-orc then?
Bloodline, right?
So half-orcs in this are either of... Like the thing I would say with the any Fey characters, that needs to be a core part of your concept, because it's going to be a constant present part of your struggle.
Right.
It is not impossible to play a campaign where you've got dwarves and elves or whatnot, but just you need to bear in mind that by taking on that role, anybody will turn you in if it'll give them any kind of opportunity.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, so it's not... And for the half-breeds, dwarves are dwarf orcs, mixed race. And the way you would build that mechanically is there is an orc species in Fantasycraft, and then you would take the dwarf-blooded feat as your first level feat.
Oh.
And that's how you do half elves or things like that.
I was flipping through the adventure companion earlier, and I noticed there was an orc blood feat in it that you could take.
But that's because it's a half orc. Just reading the dwarg's abilities, it is closer to an orc than it is to a dwarf.
You're right.
So yeah, I mean, but you could though. Like, there's nothing again. Like, that is the 3.5 interpretation. You could also take a dwarf character and then take the orc blooded one. You're absolutely right, John. Like, there's not. So, but and the continent itself was quite cosmopolitan before, and dwarves are quite long-lived. If you got a way that appeals to you, why were you thinking of playing a half-orc?
Only because you mentioned assassin, and I have a character that's a half-orc assassin.
Yeah. Then if that's the case, if it's a sort of then that probably is not a good reason for it. If it's not a core concept, it's not kind of part of your core for the character. So what about where? Do you see any crossover for background for the two characters that John and Jeff have talked about? And John and Jeff, feel free to chip in with ideas that you might have for how Dave's character could be connected to you guys.
Is this the idea where he's like gruff against the
kind of roguish, but wants to...
maybe it's very well that me and Jeff got in over our heads and he had to swoop in and save us before the legates really got us. Maybe jumped into the fight and helped us out.
Or
maybe I was the one causing trouble and you guys bailed me out.
True.
It's like, well, he is trying to take on the shadow. Maybe we can help him out when he's getting his butt handed to him by...
Well, if you're often more like sneaky and assassin-y, then like in a toe-to-toe fight, you are going to look like you're in trouble, possibly, right?
Yeah.
Depending on who you're up against. And so, yeah, maybe we stepped in and became friends.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that motivations for why you're facing the shadow, there may be more to this, but just some of the ones I can identify from what you've said. John's character is self-preservation because he can use magic. Jeff,
that and he doesn't like bullies either.
Well, again, like, there's more to it, but that's a key thing. Even if you liked bullies, you need to preserve your safety because you use magic.
Yes.
Jeff's character, a core thing, he hates bullies, but also wants to protect his brother.
Right. Yeah.
And then Dave's character is just a fuck the shadow and all of their people kind of thing. Is that consistent with...
Yeah. That's where I was coming in, yeah.
So may I make a suggestion then that perhaps what contributed to you being the way you were when you met up with these guys, Dave, is perhaps your guy, like whatever community you came from, it was wiped out. So the shadow wiped it out, leaving you in that hardscrabble situation. You met these guys and kind of found a kindred soul among their community. And we can talk more about how this came about. But my thought is that perhaps, John, your guy, the legates found out that they were hiding a mage within the community, and your hometown was fucking wiped out as a result. And you guys managed to get away because Dave knows how to hide, or his character knows how to get the hell away from this stuff. You know that, you're a tough guy and want to scrap, Jeff, but there's going to be some fights you have to walk away from.
Yeah.
Or perhaps you just weren't there for it. Maybe you guys were off doing something else. I don't know if, Dave, you want to salvage any of that nightly stuff, but perhaps there was something in his hometown that he wanted to go and recover. You all went there, and when you came back, you found that the legates showed up, knowing that there was a mage there, could not find the mage there, and then killed everybody because they thought they were hiding them. That would explain why your character didn't die fighting against them, Jeff.
Right. There's a lot of revenge then built into our sort of path.
Yeah, like
for my character, it did be an overwhelming sense of guilt because at the very best, I think he's going to be having cantrips to start with. He's not really that great of a mage yet, and just that little bit of magic set everybody off. So. And
then for Dave, for your character, this is a second home you've lost as a result of that. Yep. In most campaigns, you want to have like, oh, we'll have a place where you can be, you can grow, and whatever else. I think for this kind of setting, we're more interested in why you're going to go out and start punching the fuck out of, shadow agents of the shadow. And
why would you put yourself on the line when it's seemingly so hopeless?
Exactly. And maybe this would give you guys, set you up in the position, and then whatever character George comes up with as well, you can feel free to weave this in before we play our first session, and then we'll know where his character fits in all of this.
I know George likes to play spellcasters. That's why I don't want to be purely a spellcaster. So let's leave that open for him.
But like, the thing is, you can play, like, the thing with this setting, not only with the setting, with the game, spellcasters, the spell list is unfortunately kind of the same, in Fantasy Craft, but your selection of your background in particular, and your not only your class but your background as well, it really changes what kind of caster you are. A sorcerer feels very different from a wizard, so I'm not worried about there being overlap. You feel if you want to play a spellcaster, you fill your boots. Are you thinking of playing a mage at first level?
No, I was just thinking about taking like adept or something similar for the origin.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool.
And then picking like a more melee-oriented class to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that sounds great. And I think George would appreciate having that as his sort of, his space. Another thing I'll mention is, remember, in Fantasy Craft, there are also some very, very cool, unconventional classes. Like, I don't want to put my thumb on the scale here, Jeff, but you can make a pretty awesome barbaric brawler by combining barbarian with martial artist.
I saw that. My first thought was Jeff. You could make a goblin monk in this game.
Yeah.
You could.
But okay,
and,
so
the rage mechanic works is pretty good. I think you can do that with the punchy stuff too, right?
Hell yeah. Yep, absolutely. There's actually Hacken Doomwinter, like, who appears in so many of our one-shots. Hacken was built as a martial artist with the barbarian background. He just happened to use great swords instead of fighting hand-to-hand.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really neat thing. So does that work as sort of an idea for where our characters will be to start with, and to how these characters sort of fit?
Yeah, and the scavenging like weapons or stuff kind of fits in with what because I want like a staff or a spear to start with, just something simple.
Yeah, like you're going to find you'll be limited in what you can purchase for it, and that also gives you an incentive to get going too. And like we'll flesh out some more stuff between now and our first session of this. But I think that sounds like we've got an idea for each of the characters. So let's start putting some. I guess first off, any other comments or suggestions you want to talk about your characters, guys, before we start putting some meat on them bones?
No.
All right. Then I'm going to ask you guys to write down these numbers. Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah. Pen. Yep.
15, 14, 13, 12, 12, 11. Go ahead and assign those wherever you'd like in your attributes.
Which stat does spellcasting take?
2 actually. Uses intellect, I think, or intelligence is used for the spellcasting skill. Charisma is the difficulty class of your spells, and wisdom is how many spells you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's not wasted stats in the game.
And do they use like dexterity for like ranged touch attacks with spells?
Yep, I believe. I don't think it uses intellect or
Perfect.
intelligence for the attack.
That is good.
You, depending on what specialty or background you pick, rather, background you get as a human, and then specialty is what everybody gets to pick. Not background, talents. Okay.
Okay, got it assigned.
Once everyone's done assigning their stats, let's start talking about the combo of talent, class, and specialty. There are also extra classes as a reminder, in Adventure Companion. Near the back is where the martial artist, it's not called acolyte, emissary. If you want to play a chatty character, who's also kind of a spy, that's that. And then martial artist is in there as well. That's what you would use combined with certain other backgrounds, or one of the ways you could build a monk type character. There's certainly more than enough things. It's not a problem if you guys overlap in talents or in specialties, but there's also something fun of having your own kind of niche in it. Mm-hmm. Anyone have any thoughts for class, maybe to start with?
I was just thinking of straight soldier.
A soldier, okay. Oh, awesome.
Wait, where did we go from?
Soldiers are on page 30.
Oh, we're just going past all this other stuff for now?
Well, I mean, you can pick... It's a combination of 3 factors for humans.
Oh, okay.
It's your talent, your specialty, and your class. You can pick whichever one first you want, or you can pick them all at the same time. If you have a class in mind, though, that is a good starting point.
I'm thinking foot soldier for my class.
Soldier, okay.
Are these the classes? Oh, this is the specialty.
So let's just tell you guys because Fantasy Craft does have a number of classes that aren't featured in other D&D things. So Assassin is a excellent warrior against a specific target. Sneaky, killy stuff. By picking a specific target, they can be very, very effective. A burglar are the sneakiest class in the game. A captain is someone who has an ally. If you want to play a character who leads someone and has a lieutenant, that is a way to play that in this game. A courtier is the chatty type. That has a significant role in here. Remember, there are ways of attacking people with stress damage in this game that does normal damage to regular characters, to standard characters. The explorer is the kind of generic adventurer who knows a lot of folks and has a lot of things. Social contacts is a big part of an ongoing campaign in Fantasy Craft because it is a resource you can draw on. It's something you gain as rewards over the course of play, and something that you can draw on to gain access to benefits. As a fledgling resistance group, that's something that could be quite handy. A keeper is kind of like a folk wisdom type character. Examples that they have of keepers could be a master artisan, a shrewd guild master, an astute general, an astrologer, or an honored riddle master. With damage that can happen to gear and with benefits from bigger gear, a keeper could be a very useful support character as well. Lancer is your mounted warrior. Mage, I think you guys are familiar with that. Priest, likewise. A priest in this setting would be somebody who speaks to spirits, not somebody who speaks to the gods. A sage is a very cool character who has a lot of support stuff and gets to, over the course of levels, take special abilities from other classes. They are the only class that can spend their fate points, or whatever they're called in this game, I can't remember, on other characters. Other characters can benefit from their action points. Action die. The scout is what you would, to get the sort of like generic ranger stuff, you would play that. A soldier is to get the generic core of a fighter. You would play that. And then there's the martial artist. And the Emissary. The Emissary is a spy. If you want to play a sneaky character who's a little bit fighty, a little bit knowing people or whatnot, an Emissary is a great pick for that. And a martial artist is a focused warrior in a specific way. They don't have the generic general training that a soldier does. But yeah, so anyone have in mind what class they wish to play? John's character is going to start with soldier.
I could be convinced to something else, but I'd like to get the combat ability to make up for it.
Okay. Jeff, Dave, any particular class speak to you?
I was just gonna look at the other. It's in the other book, right?
The martial artist?
Yeah, Adventure Companion.
Yeah, Adventure Companion, page 106.
Yeah, I was just gonna look at it.
What you, Dave, is one jump out to you?
I'm just looking at assassin and burglar to see which feels more. Burglar feels more rogue-like, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Like all the skills and.
You may remember one of the things that certain classes get is kind of like a special ability to never or rarely fail their skill check. The burglar is one where with stealth, their first ability they get at first level is unless you rolled a error, remember a 1 and then I spend an action die. If you ever get an error on a roll, as long as it's 20 plus, I think your level as a difficulty class, you automatically pass it. And that's for contested rolls as well.
Very, very sneaky.
Exactly. Like you just always will be able to do that. A lot of the classes, that's sort of their first ability, is so they've got that kind of thematic space where they're always going to be the sneakiest one. They're always going to be the most clever one, or whatever the hell the particular special ability is.
Whereas the assassin starts with Heartseeker.
That's the one where basically they get to have a base attack bonus boost against a single target.
Right.
Oh no, you also get another one. Whenever you fail a blend, which is mixing with a group of people, or resolve check, and you don't suffer an error, you still succeed as long as the check DC is equal to your class level plus 20. Resolve is what you use to resist a lot of stuff. So if you want to play a character who is unbreakable, Assassin's the one you want.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Mm-hmm. The nice thing with the game, every class gets kick-ass stuff. Like every class feels like, wow, that's really overpowered.
And then so you combine the class with a talent and a specialty? Is that
exactly. Your talent will give you some class modifiers, or some stat modifiers potentially. It'll give you a feat, and then maybe some other special abilities. And then your specialty will likewise give you some modifiers and a feat.
So you could do like assassin, rogue, and agile or something like that, and you'll be like crazy. Or you could pick different ones and be kind of a weird, well-rounded.
Absolutely. Yep.
Huh.
And it's the way I've been describing it is sort of like I start with the talent first, so you'd be an agile rogue assassin, or you could be an agile adventurer assassin, or an agile fist assassin, an agile druid assassin, whatever.
Or a charismatic assassin.
Absolutely.
I think the one that fits the character concept the best is actually the soldier as well.
Soldier as well, okay.
I mean, from what I'm reading here, two soldiers could be very different as you build them.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially with how the weapon feats work. The weapon feats are very, very different. So you can build extremely different characters, and even like the different weapons, the nice thing with the feats, they make each weapon feel like it's a unique style of fighting. So yeah. Absolutely.
I've
And we're gonna have the other two things.
Specialty and a different talent. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Okay, so wait, where do we put this on the sheet?
So
it's the text underneath the spots that's really hard to read.
Yeah, and if you really can't read it, just double click on it, because it'll go blue and highlight in white.
Oh, so first class, that's where you put.
You got it.
Soldier.
Yep. And you can put your. We're going to add your species talent in a moment here. Dave, what are you thinking?
I think I'm going to go assassin.
Okay.
So that's my class.
That's your class, correct?
It's the third box at the very top.
Okay. And then human.
Do you guys want to do your talent next or your specialty next?
I was looking at talents, so.
Okay. What talents are standing out to you?
Okay, so the talents are the named things.
The human abilities, yeah. This is starting on page 18. You pick one of these. They give you sometimes an attribute modifier, sometimes a skill, sometimes a feat. I will tell you, when I make character short, I'm often flipping back and forth between the specialty and the talent to get a kind of either a good synergy or to have an interesting combination.
Which one are we doing? The origin or the
talent or your specialty? I mean, I'm really when I'm making a character in this, I'm looking at both, but
I'm thinking adaptable for my character.
Interesting. Okay.
And the specialty, that's like where that barbarian thing is.
The origin.
Yes.
Or specialty, yeah.
Yeah, all the traditional D&D classes are found under the specialty.
Yeah, that's definitely where I want to be a barbarian.
Okay. So you want to be a barbarian, soldier, and then what are you thinking for your talent?
Well, I'm either leaning hardy or grizzled. Both sort of the tough guy ones, right?
Yep. Grizzled is a really good one too. +1 to your defense. Remember, defense is separate from the protection of your armor in Fantasy Craft, and 1 additional wound per level. Wounds are what you take to die. So it's normally that doesn't go up. That's a pretty big benefit. Hardy is quite good too. There's other things that excuse me come into that, like when he's spending 2 action die to boost a Constitution check. That's pretty good. And having the natural DR, that's also pretty cool. But the adaptable one also, like extra origin skills, pretty awesome. The origin skills are things outside of your class you get to pick as skills. This game is very fucking cool in being able to pick class skills as your class skills outside of your class. Normally, you can't buy stuff outside of your class. So you have to spend your skill points on the things from your class. But you also, all of you get to pick some extra origin skills. The adaptable makes that even wider. So there's more skills you get to add. And then the interest as well is pretty great because it gives you more things that potentially can reflect your knowledge. Wait, so you're not being a spellcaster at all then? Or are you planning on spending your feat to take the spellcasting feat, John?
I was thinking of doing a origin that gives you a spellcasting feat, and maybe take the gift.
Okay, sorry. You mean specialty?
Yes.
Origin is the overarching category of all of these things.
Yes,
specialty is one of the things within that. So that's where you're thinking adept?
Yeah, I'm thinking adept, mystic, or sorcerer, whichever thing's best. I'm thinking mystic because it comes with the gift already.
Yeah.
And that would be one of the reasons why they might have been willing to harbor me, is because of some minor abilities to heal or chase off bad spirits.
Definitely. That could also be the reason why the community hasn't turned you in, too, right?
Yeah. I was
Very
thinking
cool.
that because the adept had something about turning a type of creature, and I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, the adept is sort of what you would pick if you wanted, like, the clerical turning type ability, but not be a cleric.
So I'm torn between mystic and sorcerer.
Okay. What
Those are
about you,
just
Dave?
I kind of like charismatic.
Okay. And then what would be your specialty? Are you thinking rogue still?
Yeah, I was looking at rogue, but trying to get maybe more broad, or I don't know.
Right, like maybe you want to choose something that's a little off the path.
Yeah. Charismatic swindler.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, Swindler's got some neat abilities.
But that seems like my swashbuckler that I played not too long ago. So yeah, I think I'll just go with rogue.
It's rogue, okay. So a charismatic rogue assassin.
Yes.
Okay.
When has that ever got anybody in trouble?
Jeff, did you decide on which of the
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hardy.
Hardy? Awesome.
I like the idea of that's like sort of who he is, and just the idea that he's always had thick hide. That's sort of DR2, like that's sort of again kind of fits with Vern, like
Yeah.
you know, you gotta punch real hard before you hurt Vern with a punch, you know?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
sort of has that damage reduction, so it's like kind of the same idea.
Yep, absolutely. And then, John, you're going adaptable, and then what are you thinking for your specialty?
The gift, sorry, mystic.
Mystic, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So do you want to start putting those, like starting with the talents and start adding that information into our sheet, or?
Yeah, those. So let me double check that there's no selections you guys need to pick from this. You can definitely start doing that. I'm going to put together the same type of character sheets that I did for the pre-gens for these characters, where everything's got all the abilities in one kind of category. If you don't use them,
I see. Yeah,
if you guys choose not to use them, that's totally fine too. This is going to be for me to be able to keep track of what your abilities are.
I've got a notepad open here where I'm pasting my choices in so I know what to pick.
Awesome. So yeah, so we know what these are now. So the things to keep track of, let's see here. You're going to gain 2 extra interests. Maybe I can write this down so I remember here. John, you got +2 interests.
Yes.
And 2 origin skills. And you're going to have to pick a trick to fit with your mix-up trick. There's one specific attack or maneuver or whatnot. That's like trip or disarm or something.
I was thinking trip.
Nice. Yeah, trip is a pretty good one.
Because if you get them on the ground, then the brother can beat them up.
Yeah, and in which case you do want to make sure I think trip uses acrobatics, so you want to make sure you got a decent acrobatics score then.
That will be one of my origin picks.
Okay.
Or, yeah, what is it?
So like
origin skills.
So like charming and double boost, those are things I can put into non-combat abilities.
You could, yeah. That's where I've been putting them.
Okay.
Okay. Charismatic's got nothing extra to pick. Neither does Hardy. Okay, cool. And let's see here. We've got Barbarian. Nothing to pick in that. It's just flat stats.
No, I know. I keep taking all these things that are like Done.
Mystic gets 2 extra interests as well, so you can have 4 extra interests.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to have a wide range of things.
Plus 1 skill per level. And just as a reminder, when you gain a level in Investigate, you gain equal levels in Medicine. So don't bother spending levels in Medicine, just put them in Investigate.
Okay. I don't have that as an origin skill, though. So.
No, but you're going to have, I think you each get to pick, I think it's 2 origin skills normally, and then you get 2 extras on top of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll see.
Yeah, you pick 2 origin skills that you feel fits your background. They become origin skills, so you're going to have plus 4 origin skills and 4 extra interests.
Investigate. Medicine increases 2.
Okay,
And
so
1 other. Okay. This is great because my intelligence is not that great.
yeah, and then make your remember that some of your stuff is situational for how you're making modifiers. Like it'll say, pick the lower or pick the higher of 2 stats. Just make sure you're following those instructions when you're making the modifications to your things. Like Mystic has the lower of your Constitution or Charisma scores increases by 1.
Mm-hmm. My wisdom was 11. It's
okay.
12 now.
Cool. And like for instance, as a barbarian, your ground speed increases by 10, which I think was a default 30.
I saw that. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So you guys are way the fuck ahead. All right, so then again, I'll repeat. You're going to get your list of class skills. You guys can pick. So tick those off as class skills on the sheet there. Then add each of so Jeff's character, Dave's character, add 2 more each as class skills.
Class skills?
So if you go to your relevant class, on the character sheet for Roll20, there's an empty box that is on the left there. Do you see that?
Class and origin, where you tick it?
Yeah, just tick those as being class skills. And then Dave and Jeff, you can each pick 2 more on top of whatever's listed for your class. And then John, you can pick 4 more on top of whatever's listed for your class.
And should I take medicine as well because of the increases with investigate?
You actually don't have to. You can if you want, but you don't have to, because as long as you're putting that point in investigate, it'll automatically level up.
Oh, how do I link it? Is there a way to do that?
There is not. You just have to remember to add that in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what granted these extra skills?
Every character gets 2 origin skills on top of whatever's from your class.
They're like who you are as a person.
I'm not sure if you've ever tried to build a multi-class complex character in any of the 3.5 games and being like, why the fuck does this thing have a requisite of a skill I don't have in any of the classes I'm using to build this?
Right.
I feel like they learned that and were like, you know what? You cannot do cross-class skills in this. So when you get your skill points, they all have to be spent on your class skills, but you get to designate 2 extra skills as class skills from any of the others.
Oh, so I feel like I might need to know what they should be based on direction I want to go in the future?
Possibly, yeah. Like, I mean, more so for now, I would worry about what you've got for your character. Like, you can make changes, and there's other things you can do to add extra origin skills, so, like, you're not going to run into that issue. And I think you have to be... I think it might be 10th level before you can multi-class into the first thing.
It's 5th level.
Is it 5th? Oh, maybe it's... Okay, 5th for...
Yeah, 5th expert, and then 10 for master.
So, yeah, you got quite a while before you have to worry about that. And they're usually quite forgiving. You also get a lot of skill points.
Yeah.
Skill points 6 plus intelligence modifier.
And that's times 4 at first level. And just like in 3.5, it's 1 plus 3. So 4 is your maximum ranks for first level.
But I also get, for Sharp Mind, I gain 1 additional skill point per level.
You do.
Which is also multiplied.
So that's also multiplied, correct.
So I have 7 times 4.
Yeah. What's your int? Do you have no int modifier?
Oh, wait. I have a 2 int modifier.
So that's 3. That's 9. So that's 9 times
Four. 36.
Yeah.
I've got 20 because I have no modifier. So
And soldiers get less.
yeah, but I knew that going in.
Oh, for sure. Here's something else, guys. You have listed on there something called proficiencies, starting proficiencies. Do you see that? Your proficiencies, you're going to pick from the various... If you scroll down your page, you'll find there are like edged... what is it here? I can't remember.
Where's...
Oh.
Bow, blunt, edged, hurled, siege, and unarmed.
Where is that?
If you scroll down, it's in the
See it.
on the right side, I believe. It's in one of the...
Yep, it's under initiative.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So here's what you can do. Your proficiencies, you can spend one proficiency to become proficient in that. You can spend a second one to gain forte in it, which means you can use specialty weapons. So some of the weapons that are like exotic weapon proficiencies in other 3.5 inspired games, that's how you access them in this. You also gain +1 to hit with those weapons.
What would a spear be?
A spear is edged.
Edged, okay.
It's also hurled, depending on how you're using it. So,
Okay.
what was your question, Dave?
How many proficiency points do you have?
By your class. So the assassin has 4.
And how many things can we level it up? Just
You can spread it across them. 1 point spent in it will give you proficiency with
Proficient,
it. 2 points spent in it will give you forte, +1 to hit,
okay,
and you can use forte weapons.
Okay. Vitality is 9 plus con modifier.
Efficient.
What's a big fuck you axe? Like a great axe or something like that? That's
Edged.
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 Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Things like you're unlikely you will gain more proficiencies as you gain levels, so you don't need to worry about having to pick them all right now. But things like siege, probably don't need to worry about at this stage.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, because of sieged and black powder not being a thing, there's the starting 6 for the soldier is quite a lot.
It is.
And, Jeff, if you probably want to go forte and unarmed, forte and edged, and then 2 other things?
Yeah, blunt proficient and hurled proficient. I just see him throwing shit more than actually loading a bow, and it's like
That's funny.
he's gonna throw a table at someone before he's gonna load a bow and shoot them.
Okay.
I might just have all kinds of knives everywhere and be flinging those around, but
I'm gonna take forte and spear and forte and bows, and then unarmed and blunt is my other 2.
There's no spears. You mean edged?
Yeah, sorry, edged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and one nice thing too, when you set it on the character sheet, when you go down and set up your weapons, once you guys purchase your weapons, you select which one you're going with. It'll automatically calculate the appropriate stat and the level of proficiency.
2 additional interests.
Okay. So you've got your skill points, and you got your list of skills there, and then you've got your 2 origin skills or 4 origin skills in John's case.
I picked them.
Got them, and you got yourself leveled up as well. You spent your points.
I haven't spent my skill points yet. I'm deciding on that.
Okay. One thing I will say is in this game, every skill is useful.
yeah. So I took charming as my talent, so that gives me a bunch of like improving disposition and charisma based stuff.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, impress, is that like diplomacy or persuasion?
Correct. Yeah. There's a lot of consolidation of the stuff. One nice thing too, if you want to see what the skills do, in kind of a like precursor to Pathfinder 2, they have the actions that you can do with the skills listed under the skills. So if you go to page like 64, has the full list of the skills, as well as what your stats are that you use for it, and then the description of the skills kind of follows from there.
Okay, good. I was just gonna do my skill.
I think you can use Intimidate or you can use Impress as the ways to improve disposition. It depends on approach, right?
I already have Intimidate. I don't need to take Impress.
Impress also, however, like that is one way of doing it, but there are also separate things like Influence and Persuade are actions under Impress. Browbeat and Coerce are actions under Intimidate. And Intimidate is also, remember, the thing you use to try and do stress damage to people as you threaten them.
Right. Well, and one of my skills is spend and roll 2 action dice to boost charisma-based skill checks.
That's pretty awesome.
So is that like when we were doing the fighter had like roll instead of 1, you used 1 hero point or something like that, and you got to roll 2 dice instead of 1?
Correct. Both of John's character, Jeff's character, when they are engaged in combat and they spend an action die for an attack, they get to roll 2 action die and add it to
That's why the adaptable talent was so interesting to me, because you get a +2 on any time you boost your rolls. So I roll a d4 +2.
Yeah.
So the assassin has the practice sneak thing, but it doesn't have sneak as a skill.
It's probably blend is what it boosts.
Which one are you thinking of?
Sneak as a skill?
So sneak is hold on.
Class skills blend.
Sneak is a skill, but that is one way of sort of sneaking around, remaining unhidden. Blend does much of that too. If you want to get yourself in and like blend in with a crowd or not draw attention to yourself, blend is what you can use to take a stealth action. Sneak is another thing you can do to take a stealth action.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I noticed sneak is not an assassin class skill. Blend is.
Yeah.
So you pick that as an origin.
Which is interesting because you spend an action die to boost your sneak check, and it still fails. You gain the die back after the action result. Against multiple targets, you only regain the die if the check fails against all of them.
Which one are you reading? For the rogue?
Practice sneak.
Where? Is that a feat or?
Is that under rogue?
It's under rogue.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to take sneak anyways as one of my 2
origin skills.
I'm going to take sneak and impress.
Nice.
Ooh, acrobatics.
I'm actually liking how my character's turning out here.
You know what? I'm not acrobatic. I'm impressing. I'm charismatic.
I took 2 ranks in spellcasting, just so I have the skill. But
I think you can't take. Do you have? You have the gift, right?
Spells, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you can't take.
I get 2 cantrips.
Oh, nice.
So.
Okay.
And I can cast them. I don't have spell points, so I can cast them as limited number of times per scene.
Yeah, it's Darren's character in the Tule thing had that.
Starting action die. Okay, and I think that's 3.
Yeah, 3d4.
Yeah. So 3 times per scene, I can cast my cantrips, which is probably all I need. So.
Oh yeah, Dave, check out your Heart Seeker ability too.
Yes.
So when that's fucking awesome. Not only do you get your base attack bonus is equal to your level when you're attacking special characters. So remember, like the boss characters, there's that. You get AP 2 against special characters. It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I mean, all the character classes are badass. I love the spending 1 action die to get the benefit of 2 for my fighters.
Prestidigitation.
Oh yeah. Here's the other thing, guys. As a soldier, remember you get your 1 basic melee ranged or unarmed combat feat, or you can pick 2 more proficiencies.
I'm going for the bonus feat.
You will also get 1 feat. You can take from any feat as a first level character.
Where are the feats?
Feats start on page. Let's see here.
Because I feel like picking feats is probably the next, or one of the next really important
things. It is,
things.
yeah, page 85.
So, human feat, soldier feat, and level 1 feat. Is that right?
Humans don't get a bonus feat.
Okay.
You get that as your talent.
Gotcha.
That doesn't work. Yeah, that's a 3.5 thing. You get 1 feat for being first level, and then you also get as a fighter, you get to pick one of those specific kinds of feats.
Okay.
Right, barbarian, like your specialty maybe did give you a feat.
Your talent maybe gave you a feat, and your specialty also may have given you a feat.
Oh, right. I don't think my talent. Oh, maybe it did give me a feat.
You were hardy.
Yeah.
You did not, but you got that iron gut and some other stuff.
Damage reduction thing.
Yeah, it depends. Some of them do give feats, some of them do not.
Yeah, like mine didn't give me any stat bonuses. Well, Mystic did. Adaptable didn't give me anything, so they just gave me a whole bunch of skills.
Yeah. Oh, and you got your +1 skill point per level 2, right, John?
Yes, that's why I got 20 skill points.
Awesome.
So, where do we put combat ability? Where do we put our feats and stuff on this sheet?
Wherever you want. There isn't a clear delineation between the two. I've been trying to put when I do put the character sheets together for myself, I'm going to have all of them kind of clustered together.
Okay, combat abilities, that's where mix-up comes in.
Yeah, just double check when you're picking different abilities, be sure to look at your prerequisites. Because some of them do have chains, but the chains in this actually are, I feel like even the starting things are really fucking cool.
Okay. And non-combat is the gift.
Actually,
I love making characters.
Yeah. There also are you're getting level 1 spells. There are no cantrips per se in the game.
So there isn't?
Mm-mm.
Thought there was. Like, is Polar Ray level 1?
Polar Ray is a level 1, yeah.
Oh. Spell level 0 on 114.
Oh, the casting level 1. Forgive me. I'm confusing casting level and spell level.
Yeah, 0 level spells, yeah.
Okay.
And if I was a spellcaster with spell points, cantrips don't cost spell points to cast unless you modify them.
I don't think you can modify them. I'm trying to remember.
Because I know it says under casting that you spend spell points equal to the level of a spell.
Yeah, no, cantrips don't cost anything, and I don't think you can modify them though. There's others. Yeah, and you do have to roll for them.
Yeah.
But spell points are equal to the level of the spell, so you do not.
Okay.
Okay. Has everyone spent their skill points?
Almost.
Yeah.
I keep having to re-add it up because I make changes and then 36 points, really? Okay, I'm not quite there yet. But
Well, you did pick a rogue character. You got a decent intelligence.
You know what I routinely am doing is I'll list when I make these characters, I list every single skill that I want to take for it. I spread it across, so I've got points in every single one of them, assign the leftovers, and then make some adjustments.
yeah, that's what I'm in adjustments phase now.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, spear basics.
And then,
are the feats gated by anything other than the prerequisites?
for your single feat, no. You can take any feat you'd like. For the one you're getting from, as a first level character you get, that one is not restricted. The one you get from soldier is. It needs to come from basic combat, melee, ranged, or unarmed combat.
Right.
So, for yours, if you want to use a big fuck-off axe, I think it's...
no, but why I was asking, so as a barbarian, I get Rage Basic.
Yep.
But there's one called Rage Master.
Yeah.
Or Rage Mastery, that the prerequisite is that you have Rage Basic.
Exactly. So you've got the necessary requirements to take the next one.
And it is an unarmed combat feat. So
Yeah.
So I technically could take it as just what I was asking. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there are feats later that require a certain attack bonus or something that you have to have too. So
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, skills are done.
there are so many options. My eyes were glazing over.
It is, and the thing is, they're all pretty good. So it's not like, trying to find the perfect thing for you. It's pick something and you're going to get a bunch of feats and stuff as you level as well.
Oh, totally. But I just I just love the idea of like he's very angry.
Yeah.
I like, because I mean it's kind of a cool one. I like it.
Yeah, see, and cleave. I can't remember which character. I think Andrew's character might have had cleave basics.
Yeah, 'cause when you rage, you can't make any skill checks. But if you take rage mastery, you can make intimidation checks while you're raging,
which is pretty awesome.
which I love.
That's
It
awesome.
totally is hilarious. I think to like try and scare people while you're just in a bit of anger.
Wow, and with Rage Mastery, your strength and con score is raised by an additional 2. So it's +5 to strength, +5 to con when you have Rage Mastery.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. The last one makes it so you're not fatigued after, which is nice, but I can take that later as he like learns to control his anger a little bit and not just. I think it's kind of interesting. I've always liked the downside of the Berserker Rage, where you're sort of like fatigued after.
Yeah. One, the neat thing with this too is there are ways to offset that. So like making a good meal. If you have the crafting specialties and whatnot to make a really good meal, it can remove a fatigue condition. So there's cool. Every bit of gear seems to have a specific game like benefit to it, more than just like background shit. So it's, again, the game is sort of a precursor to like some of the some of the Free League games where every little bit of gear does something mechanically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're necessarily inspired by this, but it's neat to think that these guys were in the folks who made this in like 2008 were in the same headspace that designers were in like 2015, 2016. Have you guys made your feat selections?
I'm still picking my first level feat. Got my other ones.
Nice.
Oh.
What are favorite attributes from the class? Just things that are important?
Yeah, I think those are just things that are important for your...
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Or can be important. Like if you're a dex-based fighter, you don't really need strength, but it could be useful for a soldier.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many good basic combat feats.
Yep.
Kev, did you say I could trade off a proficiency for 2 new skills or a trick? Is that how tricks work?
What's that?
Trading off a proficiency. Could I get a trick with that?
You can. I think it's... so are you thinking of getting 2 proficiencies instead of your martial feat?
Oh, is it trading a feat off to get...
No. As a, like, where are you thinking the proficiencies are coming from? Like, do you mean the ones that you get to start with?
Yeah, like the soldier proficiencies.
Yeah. You can spend a proficiency to get that.
Okay.
Where do feats go?
'Cause I'm thinking spear mastery. It lets me use staff or polearm tricks while using a spear, and then I could pick up a trick and make that interesting. If I spend my first level feat to get spear mastery, then I can pick some tricks up.
If you'd like, yeah. Just remember, like, your character disarm is a pretty common thing in this. If you're only useful in one thing, it will mean that you're fucked with... That's not so true. That's not true. You're, especially with your ability to spend action die and get it, like, your character's going to be extremely competent in fighting as a soldier, so fill your boots.
Yeah.
Dave, did you have a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dave, did you have a question?
Oh, just where are you listing the feats? Are in the non-combat abilities or?
The feats are depending on the nature of the feat. If it's a feat that's a combat feat, then combat abilities, I think. If it's in a non-combat thing, then put it there.
I have decision paralysis. They're all too good.
They really are.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are
Combat focus is pretty sick as a barbarian.
Yep.
Your sense of timing is deadly accurate. Benefit: you may double one of your attribute bonuses for a single attack, damage roll, or save. You may use this ability a number of times per scene, equal to the number of basic combat feats you have.
It's pretty cool.
So,
and one of the neat things with the fighter specialty is you when you're calculating the number of combat feats you have, you add +2 to the total.
Oh, so you can use this 3 times.
No, you can't because you're a soldier class.
Oh,
but you're a barbarian specialty, not a fighter.
Oh, the fighter
specialty.
can do that. Yeah. The combat instincts, no, the combat vigor, you shrug aside even punishing blows, so you gain 1 additional vitality per career level, and you lose 2 fatigued grades at the end of each scene rather than the normal 1.
It's pretty good.
Which is really good as a barbarian, because you're like coming back. Contempt, you don't have time for lesser foes.
I will point out
around
a scene doesn't necessarily mean an encounter in this game.
Right.
A scene could be entering a dungeon and fighting your way to the boss, and then that's the end of one scene, and when you go in to fight a boss, that's a different scene.
Right.
So
it's still good.
One of your other things, I think Hardy one of your things gives you +1 vitality per level, so this would be +2 vitality per level too.
Yeah, and that's like your toughness.
That's your hit points, effectively.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Which, I mean, that's pretty sick too, right?
Yeah,
John, you're thinking spear?
Yeah, I took Spear Basics as my soldier, and then my first level one is going to get Spear Mastery.
Okay, nice.
Dang.
And I was going to pick up a polearm and then a staff trick to trade away 2 proficiencies for.
Okay.
Get some tricks going on. Okay.
Great Fortitude is pretty nice as well.
I like how all the feat, saving throw feats, are just more you get more from it than you do.
Right, it's +3 to your Fortitude save, but it's also 4 extra wounds.
Yep.
Wound points.
And that's the stuff that you need to not get killed, right?
Right, I know. Man, this is tough.
More of the tricks listed.
Tricks are on page 221 of the core book, and there are a ton of extras in the Adventure Companion as well.
221.
And then page 138 of the Adventure Companion has a bunch as well. Just be mindful of the prerequisites for it.
Mm-hmm.
So to be clear, Kev, every time I rage, I gain a level of fatigue. Is that correct?
At the end of it, correct.
Right. So if, like you said, like a scene that goes for a long time, so like if you're going all the way through a dungeon and during there's 2 combats in that section, I could be fatigued too going into or whatever.
If you rage in each one, yeah.
Yeah, right. So recovering 2 of them could be huge.
And also the fatigue is one of the things that remember there's the 2 subdual damage becomes whenever you take subdual damage or you take stress damage, you make either a fortitude or a will save against, I think it's 10 plus whatever half the damage you've taken so far. If you fail that, you clear your subdual or stress and you take 1 level in either fatigue or in, I can't remember what the other one is. So there's other sources of being fatigued. So yeah, that would be pretty handy.
Yeah, I think combat focus, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Combat vigor is the one I'm going to take then for my human feat.
Okay, love it.
And then rage mastery for my soldier feat.
Love it. Shaken. That's the stress one.
Yeah, that's good. I like the idea. I like the idea of being able to sort of recover a little faster. If it's a resource that I'm also leaning on, like it's a game mechanic, plus I'm leaning on it, I like the idea of at least being able to recover it faster so I'm not constantly 3 fatigue levels down the whole game all the time.
Yep. What are you thinking, Dave?
Lifestyle and legend. I'm looking at the table on the assassin and putting on my base attack, fort, reflex, will, defense, initiative, and then lifestyle. I'm like, what is that?
So legend is what is used for calculating, I think it's reputation. or it's either reputation or renown. One of those is the like overall level of being known. One of them is a resource you use to spend. Your legend plays into that. Your lifestyle is factored into one of two different things. It's either your panache, like how your level of wealth reflects your interactions with others, and the other one is it's not called savings, but it's something like that. Let me find the prudence. Prudence tells you how much money. One thing I love with this game is very Conan style, where at the end of an adventure, if you haven't spent your money on something, it gets wiped out, except for a percentage based on your prudence.
Okay, so where are we putting that on the sheet? Anywhere?
Panache and prudence is, I believe, halfway down. But you choose when you've got a lifestyle.
Coin lifestyle. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So your lifestyle, you get to choose. Like if you've got only 1 point, I believe you add your charisma. No, maybe not. So your lifestyle score, you choose whether you're putting those points into panache or into prudence.
Okay. So panache being a little more flamboyant.
Yeah, like on page 153, it tells you what the benefits are. Prudence allows you to save more money that you have at the end of an adventure. It's also used for earning money during downtime. And panache is used to the money you take in for properties, businesses, and scams and other monetary endeavors. And as well as a bonus to charisma-based skill checks. The higher your panache is, the better your charisma modifier.
Oh, so normally we begin with a score of 0.
Depending on your class.
Dave just gets some.
I get a +1 for being an assassin.
Right.
Yeah, and a soldier gets +0 lifestyle, +0 legend, yeah. Remember, your initiative modifier comes from your class as well. So does your defense. So do your
my
saves.
my total lifestyle is 0 and my total legend is 0?
Correct. And then your panache and your prudence are 0.
But since I have a 1 lifestyle, I can put 1 into either panache or prudence.
You got it.
Everyone should be paying more attention.
I don't see legend.
So lifestyle is in coin and lifestyle above the non-combat abilities, and the other one is near the very bottom, your reputation and renown, just above holdings, below your gear.
Oh, there, yeah, legend 0. I mean, I don't really need to find it because I have 0, but
Okay.
I have chosen my tricks.
I'm a legend in my own mind.
Also, what tricks did you go with?
I picked up arrow cutting. So once per round, I can try to swat a projectile out of the air with my melee weapon to make a reflex save.
Nice.
I can do it twice because I have 2 combat feats, but that's twice per battle.
Okay.
And then I took triumphant swing, which is also twice per battle. Against a special opponent, I can increase my arrow range by 3, and I recover vitality with a hit.
You
If I
increase
miss-
your what range?
Arrow range. So critical fumble range, I
Oh,
think.
arrow. I heard arrow. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. No,
Yeah, so I can get a d6 vitality with a hit, or if I miss, I become flat-footed.
and it increases your arrow range?
Yeah, by 3.
Love the sound of that.
Yeah. It's it's
Risk reward stuff. It's a very much in keeping with the way the game's designed. I love it. Cool.
And okay, so back to what we were doing. So
All right, I'm just double checking. I see in Spycraft you add stats to it's not called Panache and Prudence, but it's other things. But I guess you don't do that in this game.
Okay, base attack bonus.
Okay.
Where's
All
BAB?
right. So we spent
1.
make sure you're recording your base attack bonus, your initiative, which comes from your class, and your defense, which also comes from your class. And then some of you are also getting defense bonuses from your specialties or for your talent.
Okay, initiative. I'm just trying to find out where everything is. Okay, class gets a 1.
Oh, and John, you remember to add to your medicine skill for free?
Yes.
Awesome.
Where is legend?
I'm probably just gonna fix my sheet when you give us the PDF, Kev.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
I'll have it as accurate as I can, but I mean, there's a lot of things from different spots.
There's a lot of things in it. Yeah, and that's as long as it's
that
listed.
I might miss something.
If it's listed in the character sheet for Roll20, I'll be able to draw it from there and put it together. I've got an old hat now that I got the format set up for it. John, did you have a question?
Where is legend on the character sheet?
Guys, you said it was at the bottom?
Legends at the bottom, yes.
Yeah, in
Almost the very
reputation,
bottom.
under reputation.
Oh,
and
sorry.
There
rare.
it is.
I looked at the wrong table. Jeff, you got a 1 in Legend.
Oh.
Yeah, you got 0 in Lifestyle, 1 in Legend.
Oh, there we go. See, I told you I was a legend.
Yeah.
Legendary.
And I will say,
Wait,
for those of you
hold
at home, we're gonna, as is the case in many of our games, as we play, we may be making like house rules and things like that on the go to reflect the setting. I'm more interested in playing and seeing what happens and seeing what we need to change more so than having come up with the perfect set of rules to model Midnight. I mention that because things like Legend or like your other contacts, we may need to sort of reinterpret them in the context of the darker setting that we're in.
Did you guys already cover off on in step 7 interests?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Almost.
So
I
all I
don't
do
think
is
we've done anything past what you've. Yeah.
Yeah.
picking a feat then was where?
Picking a feat is as first level character. That's the one that you can take from any of the available feats.
But where in the book is that?
That is
Page 100 something.
page 20. Do you mean where the list of feats or where do you have those rules?
Yeah, the list of feats.
List of feats start, what did I say, 110 or something like that?
I think so.
90... Oop. Page 84 is where feats start. And then they go for...
So I get ambush.
Nice.
Ambush basics.
Ambush is a really neat thing. The way that, like basically, if you get a chance to ambush other, like adversaries in it, what you do is if the people who are successfully involved in the ambush, they get a number of sneak attack die that they can use for a number of rounds, and then they expire. But so if you think of like how rogue sneak attack die work in other versions of D&D, imagine like your character just gets those to do extra damage because you're getting this ambush off.
Yeah, and there's I think a combat feat. It's knife basics that you get sneak attack with knives.
Pretty awesome.
And it's 2 dice of it
Yeah.
to start with. So if you want to be an assassin, flank
Yeah.
and knife them.
Sweet. All right. So
I considered that, but I really wanted to use a spear. So
Yeah, and
ambush
there's
basics
so
came
many
from Big
options in the
Rogue.
game too. Sorry, Dave, I talked over you. What were you saying?
that's right. I was talking at the same time. Ambush basics was a rogue feat, a bonus
Yeah,
feat.
covert feat. Oh, so you got it from your rogue specialty. Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
page 95.
Say it
I have
again?
17 hit points.
You got a
You
lot
have
of
17 wounds, or you have 17
Vitality.
vitality.
Yeah, I was just calling it hit points.
It's pretty good.
I think I'm gonna have 12 plus 14.
14.
That's pretty good too.
Well, yeah, I'm eventually going to take a level of mage or something later down the road, but right now it's just basically cantrips. So, Wait, so the wounds is 14, right? Okay.
Wounds is equal to
Vitality.
your constitution score, unless you got some other modifier.
Oh, my constitution happens to be 14, so
Nice. Okay.
yeah, I think I saw small races get lower amount of wounds because of their size, and bigger ones get bigger.
Yeah, it's neat. Like if for even for like calculating like ogres or dragons or things like that, it's cool that they're a lot harder to fully take down. In addition to the higher vitality that the special ones may have. Also, you become fatigued. That's another thing actually to consider too, Jeff. Is if as soon as you become wounded, if you run out of vitality, you gain a level of fatigue.
So you get a feat from your specialty, your career, and your class.
Not necessarily. Sometimes you
not
do, but
necessarily.
you'll get sometimes one from your talent. Sometimes, I think almost always for your specialty. Sometimes from your class. From being a level 1 character, just like other versions of 3.5, you'll also gain a first level feat.
Okay, so the assassin class said a bonus feat at level 1.
It does?
In the chart.
Are you looking at the level chart?
I'm going to go back. I'm just going to double check it.
Yeah, because like you get +1 feat as a career level 1.
Oh, maybe that's what I was looking at. Let me just
if you're
double check.
looking on page 27, that's the career table. That's the cumulative level of the character is called a career level in this game. Class level, this is the one level where, you're always going to be the same class level and career level.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. That was the chart I was looking at.
Yeah, you got one feat you get to pick as well, Dave.
So 1 feat total, except for anything that's listed in my...
In those other ones you talked about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nothing in charismatic.
And I love creating characters so much on here.
The characters... Like the character creation in Fantasy Craft is so fucking cool.
Yeah, like I traded away 2 of those proficiencies to get tricks, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I have 4 tricks because mix-up's one of them, and then the stance.
Yeah. Well, and mix-up, you got to pick a maneuver. Remember,
pick trip.
You're right. You picked trip. Okay. Are you trained in acrobatics? Is that what you're?
It was one of my origin selections.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the maneuvers in this are also fun. It's an amazing game. I absolutely love running Fantasy Craft. And you guys have come up with a really interesting core. Like, for one, it's going to be really easy for George to figure out how his character's going to fit in this thing. And I've got some great stuff to work with because, like, life is going to be tricky for you guys. And this particular game gives you great social mechanics as well. So, with Dave playing a charismatic character, that's going to be an interesting way for you guys to talk your way into trying to, make friends or like avoid people turning you in.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make an easy, what kind of weapon do you see your character using, Dave?
Probably just like short blades.
Okay. So
knives, daggers.
Because you're a kind of a fighty type, one thing to consider is if you have edged forte, if you took forte in edged weapons, you can get knife basics.
That's the one John was just saying.
That's what John was saying too. Or you could take sword basics. Same thing, edge forte is a requirement. That's got a neat one where you can take a martial stance, where you take a half action or to go into the stance, and then you gain +1 to hit and +3 to damage until you get out of the stance.
It's very nice. My the fighter I played before had that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wicked Dance does sound pretty good too. One-handed melee attacks inflict 2 additional dice of sneak attack damage.
Wicked. Which one's that? Oh, is that the knife basics one? Yeah. Fencing basics is also quite good. Once per round, you make a free attack with your fencing blade against an adjacent flat-footed character. You also inflict half damage. It's a free extra attack on top of your character. So if you have something like, say, Trip that John does, where it makes them unbalanced, which includes making them flat-footed, you get a free attack on them on top of whatever your actions are.
Wow.
Yeah, Work the Line is a pretty good. James's character had fencing basics in the latest version or last version of the character we played. Each time an opponent, when you're in the stance, each time an opponent attacks you and misses, you may move 5 feet and draw the opponent into the square you were in. Also, each time an adjacent opponent moves away from you, you may immediately move into the square he just left. That's the fencing basics stance. Also, Dave, if you want to attack a whole bunch of times, darting weapon. At the start of your initiative count, when you're armed with a single melee weapon, you may accept a -2 penalty to your attack and skill checks until the start of your next check. And then once during that round, you can take a half action to make 2 standard attacks. Yeah, lots of good options. That's not even getting outside of the combat stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at covert feats right now because I only get the one, so I gotta determine. Maybe I'm probably gonna go with knife basics, but
Yeah, some of those are quite good too.
So just looking at the stance I got from Monkey's Grip, which is the what you get for spear basics. You can wield a single two-handed melee weapon with one hand in that stance, which means I could free my hand up for spellcasting in the middle of combat.
Very cool. Yep.
ferocity basics benefit. You roll
I'm gonna
sneak
take
damage plus 1 damage per die. Also, once per round, you may take a half action to coup de grace a helpless character.
Saw that one.
Oh.
Okay, caster level 1. No spell points. 2 spells.
Yeah, and you got 2 ranks in spellcasting, John?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think then you also. Oh no, because you got the gift, not.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Eventually, I'll take a dip into a mage class, but
Awesome.
for now, it's just I'll be happy with my 3 per scene.
Well, the thing that's nice about the game, just from what we played so far, like you don't necessarily need a dedicated. You've got training in medicine for one, so like that's helpful. You can also spend action die to recover vitality, so that's helpful, and you have ways to sort of control the tempo of combat by going like on the defensive and stuff if things are not going your way.
Trying to think of what the best 2 cantrips would be. I think Polar Ray is one of them to give me an attack spell.
Polar Ray is incredible for an attack spell. Light as well as usually because you guys are all human.
How does this sound? Ghost basics. You're swift, silent, and difficult to pin down. Benefit: your sneak check movement penalties decrease to half, rounded down. Also, you may move up to double your speed while making a hide check.
What do you think?
Oh, I kind of like that. That's very.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, the knife the knife basics. That's also very good. Damn. Damn.
I know, it's hilarious.
So many good things. Okay, I'm gonna go with knife basics.
Nice.
Good choice.
Okay. The nice thing with those combat ones is they always give you some stance in addition to some benefit, or not. I don't know if it's always, but they seem to always give it, which is a cool little way to make your character unique when you're fighting.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, then we have your interests to pick. So you guys have a total of, I believe it's 4, but one of them has to go to languages. And John, you've got 4 extra interests.
Yeah, picking adaptable did a lot for me.
Oh, sorry, it's 3 total. Oh, no, it's yeah, so 1 in your native language, 1 in your native culture or homeland, and then 2 additional interests of your choice. And interests are things that you're going to pick either other languages or studies. Study can focus on a nation, a region, a culture, a celebrated adventure, a religion, a monster. So they should be broad enough to find periodic use, but narrow enough to not enter into every conversation. So if you guys have suggestions for, rather than like asking it out loud, why don't you just put them in chat if you've got proposed, things. John, did you drop out of the...
I had an issue. I had to relog.
Okay. Got it.
My sheet got stuck and I couldn't minimize it.
These fucking Roll20 and their sticky character sheets, man. Drives me batty.
To see if my changes to the sheet stick.
Oh yeah, good question.
Nope, they're back.
Oh no.
So we start with 4?
So you have 4 interests. One of them is going to be your language, which I think is common. Let me double check. It's got the list of languages in the book here, or setting here. Languages of Eridane.
So focus is say skill and then focus.
Yeah, it's under. Let's see here. It's underneath the attributes, I think.
So these are interests, yeah.
Interests and languages, yeah. This will also include your interests. Is also your studies.
Okay.
Are
we using alignment, Kev?
If your character would have an alignment, you can. Alignment in this is more a matter of like if you happen to have specific beliefs or convictions, and you can include that as something as well. And it's beyond just the like lawful good or whatever else. Like an alignment may be like hatred of agents of the shadow.
Code of the Assassin, which I will draft up.
But so hold on. That would be a personal thing, though, right? Because where would he have learned? Like, there's not a guild of assassins, at least not out, not within the free peoples, right?
Yeah. That's something he'll just learn on his own through life.
Okay. Okay, I'm just looking at the. Are you guys thinking for where our campaign is going to take place? Are you thinking more in the north where the shadow is very firmly held, or the south? I mean, the shadow is sort of everywhere anyway. Are you thinking more like, Vikings and Northerners and snow and shit? Or are you thinking more, potentially like Western Europe, Crusader states type areas in the south?
I mean, my vote's warmer. I see my character with his shirt off more often than a winter parka on.
Okay.
Same, yeah.
Okay.
All right, then.
Can't really be agile and spear-like when you're in tightened up cold weather gear. And
Okay, so then everyone can put one of their languages is colonial.
Okay.
That is your language. Your culture will be, let's say, Southern Airman land. Spelled like you can see on the map here.
Wait, so... and this under interests in languages?
Correct. Yeah.
So
you put culture, Southern Aran land, and language is colonial.
Okay.
Southern Aran. Oh, crying out loud. So that's 2 of our 4?
2 of the 4, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you have 2 more that can be personal to your character. So if you'd like, I have... They don't give examples in Fantasy Craft, but they do in Spycraft, which is I found pretty helpful just because to get some ideas of what what an appropriate pick would be. Give me a second. I'll just read off a couple of 2. Yeah, you guys can see if they don't fit, then at least have an idea of what might be an appropriate selection. Where the ever-loving fuck is it? There we go. I think it's at the end. Interests. Samples can include things like board games, classic cars, clubbing, conspiracy theories, creative writing, criminology, fine cuisine, fishing, forensics, formal dance, role-playing games, religion, politics, literature, jogging, internet surfing, hunting, hiking. So if you've got... Remember, the way these come into play is when you're trying to know whether you know something about something. You may just give it like this is to reflect sort of the broad experience of your character. So if you've got like, you know, Dave, your character was talking about like scrounging or whatnot. You could, you know, that could be a descriptor for that part of his backstory. If, for instance, John, your character was particularly focused on like magics, or because you're being pursued, you know, the legates of the shadow, that could be one. And then, you know, that would give you, when something cut, like what I will do, the way I've been interpreting them in the game is either when we make a roll to see if you know something about the setting or whatnot, we use those as modifiers. They can be used as well in skill checks sometimes, but generally not in active skill checks. It also sometimes I had to use it to judge whether, just in general, your character would know something or has a certain ability, right?
Should I put like mysticism instead of just straight up magic? Or would magic just be...
Magic is far too broad.
Okay, so
yeah, because
mysticism is a specific kind of magic, right?
How do you think that differs then? What do you mean by mysticism?
That's...
Like, what I would prefer is something that is along the lines of, like, magic of the elves, magic of the shadow, arcane magic.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And you can take multiple ones, too. So you could take that.
I have a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, you could take spirit magic.
Yes, okay.
But also, like, remember, this is supposed to be not just the one thing. This is a reflection of all those other parts of your character. So with your character, you've got the benefit of having a variety of them, too, but other things that reflect your character's history, those should be reflected in your interests, and you're going to get more interest as you go too.
I was thinking about like with my mystic, I was going to do spirit magic and arcane magic with my adaptable legate to the shadow, and then something else.
Love it.
And then my two other base ones, I'll pick something.
Love it. Yep, love it.
I'm trying to think of something for like growing up poor and or like being like lower, you know, like being able to connect people in like lower tiers of society.
So remember, this is a reflection of your knowledge. So perhaps it could be, you know, life of the unhoused. So that would, I would think, anytime you've got some knowledge thing reflecting, like when you don't have, either you're a refugee or you're, you know, a beggar or something like that, that would give you some, that would apply in those circumstances, but it doesn't apply in every circumstance.
About like weapon maintenance or something. Would that be a interest?
That's what the crafting skill is more for. What an interest would be might be styles of weaponry, or you know, what you'd say, because the Sarkisans are the ones who had the most advanced weaponry. You could say Sarkisan blacksmithing. Or Sarkisan weaponry. That would be those specific types of weapons.
Okay.
What do you think, Jeff? What do you got for your interests?
So, again, with Vern as my inspiration, I'm trying to come up with one that's sort of creative cooking, or like cooking on a budget, or, you know, it's kind of like that idea. Because, like, when we were... Vern has always been like, you know, okay, we got ramen noodles, but how do we make this into like an actual meal? Or, you know what I mean? Like, he was always making crazy recipes of.
What about?
Like we got a can of tuna. We got, you know.
What about inspired cuisine?
Yeah, inspired cuisine. That's perfect. Yeah, like that kind of idea. Exactly right. Okay. We got this tin of rations. We got these wild mushrooms. What the heck are we going to make?
But also, like, as far as the, again, like the interests are not active skills. They're reflective of your knowledge. But where that would come in would be things like, if you come across some stuff, you might have like, oh yeah, these are things from the, you know, these are spices from the White Desert. And other, like, how the hell do you, like, no one travels and has for 100 years. How do you know that? Well, I don't know. We came across some in a, you know, abandoned barn, and we made use of it.
Yeah, we used it. Yeah. So this is under interests.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned taking the light spell, but I'm getting touch of light, which is a very, very weak healing spell,
Oh, nice. Okay.
which represents the healing he offered to the people.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I think that restores 1 wound, right? Or 1 vitality?
One standard character heals 1 damage, or one special character heals 1 vitality.
Nice. Yeah, that which is huge, because...
I don't have a lot of vitality.
Now, assassins do not from... I think Graham played an assassin character, and I remember the vitality was not huge. What's your constitution modifier?
1?
Okay, so 10, I guess, vitality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Have you guys picked your interests?
I'm gonna have to think on those to narrow down it. But
Sure. Just if you don't mind, I'd ask you please just run them past me before we set them in stone.
How
I
about
would just say, hey, Kev, I need you to pick 3 for me.
Oh, okay. The well, what other areas? Let's just talk in general. What other sort of things do you think you've been exposed to? Like, here's an instance: if you grew up in, say, a farming community, you could know, farms of Southern Ireland.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do like that.
Because the thing is, the idea being that you can squirrel those interests into being a lot of things. The farms of Southern Ireland may not just be how to farm there. It also might be like, oh, I know where to find shit. I know what people keep generally in their barns. Oh, I know what how to who to approach in these places.
How about what do they call it? Off the wall healing stuff. Non-traditional medicine, something like that.
Yeah, I buy that. Yeah, because again, it's going to come down to interest. It won't affect your active skills, but it will be your like if you're trying to collect herbs or things like that. Dave, for criminal underworld interest, what do you think of like, say, gnomish secrets? Because remember, they're the ones who are working counter purposes to the shadow. They're also smugglers. So, like, if you're buying shit from somebody, that may be the person you may pick it up from.
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay.
Very more setting specific. I like it.
Okay. How many more do you need, John?
Okay, just 1.
One more. What other stuff do you think that do you have anything like maybe like livestock? Like where Jeff is the brother who is sort of the bronze and whatnot. Maybe you're the one who was listening to what everybody else was doing.
Like livestock?
That would be any kind of animals you would find on the farm, and then any interpretation that would come from that as well. Again, you're getting more interest as you gain levels. So like when you adventure in something, you come across something and that makes sense, you can always add to it as well. The starting interests are kind of intended to be what your background has been.
Okay.
You don't have to pick livestock, but like just if there's something other aspect of your like folk songs.
Yes.
Okay.
I picked folk remedies for the other one, and folk songs go right hand in hand with that.
Love it.
So like little for Adaptable, I took Legates of the Shadow and then folk songs. So those are kind of like pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got them picked.
Awesome. Okay, then you don't have performance as I think that's one of the skills, right? No, what is it?
I've got Prestidigitation.
Maybe it's impress.
Probably Impress.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, so you guys have your core abilities, your class abilities, your defense bonus, 10 plus your dexterity modifier, plus whatever your class gives you.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody think to take armor training? Armor basics?
I was only going to get light armor, and they don't give you a big penalty if you stick to the light stuff, so I didn't.
Okay.
Where's that?
It's sorry, go ahead.
No, I say, like, Dave, your character probably doesn't need it. It's more the soldiers who will want to potentially invest in that. But what it does is, because armor slows you down, and it gives you a defense penalty. And also a penalty to certain skills, just like in other 3.5 games.
Yeah. Although if you keep it light, it's not that bad.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Then your initiative. I think your initiative bonus was probably tracked by your sheet automatically. Mm-hmm. Likewise, melee ranged. Okay. And then your starting reputation is your career level times 10. So you have 10 points to start in reputation.
And is that... There it is.
We're not going to have you spend it off the hop. We're going to use that as a currency in game. Or during downtime, as the case may be. Okay, and then starting gear, guys. I know we didn't start for mid-session break, but I think we're probably going to wrap up before our normal, 4 hours.
Right, yeah, just and after the character creation and not...
Okay.
I'm having
break.
Yeah, and I need more prep, and we also have George is joining the game too, so we want to give him a chance to make it. Okay, guys, you each have 100 silver pieces to start.
Okay.
And you can spend that on gear. Remember, anything that is in the Reason era is not in this setting.
And what page does the gear start on?
Gear starts on page 156.
However, armor's on 174 or 173, and weapons are...
You guys may also want to... Some of the stuff that starts off here, like bedroll. You guys may want to be getting some basic gear in addition to that, because you guys... There are starvation rules. There are other rules for dehydration.
Well, and how much silver do we have? 100 silver?
100 silver. And with this starts with you guys on, our game starts with you guys on the run and with very little stuff. That feels very setting appropriate.
Okay, leather it is.
Actors, props. Oh wait, no, sorry.
It's studded leather.
I remember there's a difference between partial armor and moderate armor.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure you're recording that properly.
Studded.
There's no hit locations necessarily, but just that will... it has a different score for it.
Okay.
Yeah, certain weapons and gear get pretty expensive pretty quick. But that keeps you hungry and gets you going. And you get some pretty awesome upgrades to the characters as we start seeing you gain levels.
XP is not that.
Someone suggested play a peck, which is like if you want to play a halfling or a gnome, that's you pick the peck species for it. Peck barbarian, so you keep having lunch to heal off your fatigue because you're having second breakfasts and stuff like that. That's a good suggestion, Betternet. Hey, everybody in chat, by the way, too. Dwayne, Betternet, what's going on? Hope you guys are having a good start to the weekend.
Okay, that cost a lot.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna go padded.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have. I don't know if I'm gonna have any armor because I'm gonna buy a moderately expensive weapon.
Nice.
That's why I went with a spear. Well, it's not the only reason, but
I just look. I need a broad axe, okay? I'm very Conan the Barbarian. I need a big fuck you axe. It's 45 silver.
ouch.
I think that's the one, the massive ability is the one that potentially knocks people down. So you must have a strength score of 15 in order to wield this weapon. I trust that you do.
I'm pretty sure that's where I put my 15. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. A smaller opponent struck by this must make a fortitude save equal to the damage after DR and resistances are applied, or become sprawled.
Beautiful.
It's pretty awesome.
Wait, that's under the weapon qualities?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, massive.
Yeah, and then it has AP 2 and massive, and its threat range is 19-20.
Amazing.
The other stuff there, like it's two-handed, so you got to use two-handed, but the things like construction and whatnot, composition, you don't need to worry about that shit for now. Cost you do.
Yeah. Wait, so
1d12.
How do you change the threat to... Oh, you just put it at 19.
Got it.
Right, okay. And then...
What we started doing is putting the qualities in the name of the weapon, because qualities won't display when you do it. So you could put broad axe and then in brackets AP2, comma, massive, and brackets, and then when you actually make an attack, it should show up.
Okay, and then damage dice.
1d12.
1d12, that's big.
Mm-hmm. Tick the box that says add strength.
Oh, yeah.
And
Apparently,
then
there's a really expensive spear I could get, but I don't know if I get it. 40 silver's a lot.
Yeah.
Size is S?
Yes.
Reach. Doesn't have any kind of reach. Const. Two hands.
Yep.
What's this? Bonus misc.
Miscellaneous bonus, which you don't have. As long as you set the thing to edged, it should include whatever forte bonus you have.
Jeez. I could get a lance.
Oh. Wait, what? What are these things below? Modifier total.
Remember, anything that's got an asterisk, double check, because you might need to have forte in whatever... Some weapons require you to have forte in whatever the related proficiency is. Sorry, Jeff, what was that?
Like, to actually roll with it now...
Go down to the attack. Remember, there's the columns? Nat 1, baby! So...
Get that out of the way.
That is an error. So if I had action die, I could spend that to trigger it.
What's the... Oh, and the modifier is supposed to be 0?
Yes, because remember, that's miscellaneous modifiers. That's if you have something else that will factor into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is +4. You said you've got a 15 strength.
Yeah.
That is +2 for your strength, +1 for your base attack bonus, and +1 for forte with edged, I assume.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably, yeah. I did take 14.
There you go. And go ahead and click on damage. It's at the top of that little tile.
There. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
7 and AP 2.
Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the lance. I do have forte with the weapon, so I could use it. It says it's a cavalry weapon, so you don't take penalties while you're riding on the mount to attack with it. But can I wield it just on the ground?
Let's see here. AP4, cavalry, massive, reach +1. Says it's only, let's see. I guess so.
Okay.
It doesn't say it can only be used for cavalry. Let's see.
So it's specifically designed for mounted use, which negates the penalties while mounted. Okay.
I don't know, John. Just in comparison for its cost versus the other things, I feel like it doesn't have any of its qualities if you're using it on the ground, other than reach.
No armor penetrating.
Yeah, so, no AP, no massive when it's not being used as a cavalry weapon.
But I could ride later on and use it as a cavalry weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me take a look at mounted combat, because maybe there's insight that's offered there on this.
Because the reach is cool. I mean, and I don't want to throw it, so I think I'll go with the lance.
I did pick ride as a skill.
Cool.
Nice.
I have not, so I'll have to pick that up later.
Vern likes to drive, so we could go for a ride.
Yeah, it's not listed there, but I just feel like that's got to be the way that it's intended to be.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm considering is because I got that monkey grip thing that lets me use a two-handed weapon in one hand, so I think it makes sense I could use it in melee combat normally.
So, okay, guys, I've just gone ahead and spent the requisite gold that all three of us have a 10-foot pole. Sorry, it's a Jeff joke. I always think 10-foot pole is such a stupid thing to carry around.
It's one kino.
Yeah, it's otherwise that's got to be the way it's intended. For the lance, because otherwise, like the boar spear is almost double the cost and isn't any more effective. So, yeah, that's got to be.
Okay.
I mean,
I feel like. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I feel like whoever first came up with carrying a 10-foot pole around has never spent any time in their life actually walking through carrying a 10-foot pole.
No.
I think it was designed specifically for dungeon delving use and not...
Yeah, but even worse in a dungeon. Going around corners,
But in those days, especially for original D&D, 10-foot squares was used, not 5-foot squares.
Oh, so you're always standing in this big, huge room.
Yeah. There's a lot of unusual... I don't know if you remember, but in AD&D, the rounds were like 1 minute long.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I don't think we ever played that way, but rules was written. That's the way it is.
No. It's just
okay. Dave, how's your gear coming together?
Good. I've got some basics: backpack, bedroll, water skin, tinderbox, some rations. Rations are expensive and heavy. So I'm only taking 2 days at the start because that's 10 pounds and 10 silvers right there.
Does anyone have training in survival?
I have 1 rank in survival.
Okay.
It's only a +2 though in total, so...
We're going to die in the freezing cold.
Oh, because you can forage.
I have survival of 4 total.
Good.
Oh, that's good.
I got padded armor, so I got cold resistance.
Oh, no, wait, sorry, 2 total as well.
We can try to work together.
Yeah, because if you, depending on the circumstances...
I don't have any wisdom, I don't have any wisdom.
Because you can forage, so you can spend 4 hours foraging and find enough perishable food and water for the party for 1 day.
Where's just all your listed gear? Oh, here at the bottom.
I think that worked, right?
So 2 daggers is 30.
It did, yeah. If you could maybe put, John, in the description of the name, put in brackets, reach +1.
Oh, the name, gotcha.
Yeah, because it doesn't display
double or single. Oh, just regular brackets.
Regular brackets. Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure what you were asking. Or I was trying to figure out if you meant with reach. Perfect.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, you do square brackets. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't matter. The reason that we put them in there is because it doesn't show the qualities otherwise, so it's just easier to remember them. Each weapon has those things, too. I'm assuming the first thing you guys are going to do is try and steal a horse from somebody, right? So that's...
Or take the animal partner feat.
Wait, do you have training in ride?
I probably need to put one in there since I have a lance now. I will pull it from... Shoot. Resolve. I put 4 ranks in Resolve.
One thing to remember with the game, too, is you can always spend action die to increase whatever your chances are with your skill, and they explode on a 4 at first level. So,
Well, Ride isn't actually one of my class or origins, so I can't take that. So,
Ride is not one of yours?
nope. I can pick it later as we level up, though.
It's not a soldier's one? That's weird.
Um,
No, it's not. Jeff, did you take Ride as one of your origin skills?
Yeah,
Cool.
I said I added it because Vern likes to drive.
Oh,
so
love it. Love it.
It made sense as my character influence is Vern. So
Awesome.
I don't know when he's ridden, but he's good. He's okay at it.
yeah, I took prestidigitation because I saw that in the magic section you can use it to try to hide the effects of a spell.
Love it.
So,
Which would be very... I mean, they still have like terrible hounds that can fall to you. It's going to be an interesting campaign paired with this game in particular, because like the way that they make the characters more, powerful in 3.5 is by adding that second specialty thing in there. This is going to be a different way of doing that.
I really like how this character's turned out so far.
That's awesome. It's a great game, honestly. Like I can't think of a single pre-gen that I threw together when we were getting to know the game that I didn't think was a cool character. All the classes are super cool. For the more chatty ones, it's just a matter of whether how much that comes into your game, the role-playing aspect. Jeff and Dave, how are your characters coming together for their gear?
Good, I think. I just got daggers.
Nice.
A pair of. Just trying to put them into my sheet to make sure they work.
Wait, so when I choose crafting, I choose what my crafting is in? Is that correct?
Okay, so there is actually something else that I didn't do, and that is for each. Didn't play with our pre-gen ones, but it's worth doing it. It is your, what is it called? So with crafting, focus. Okay. When you gain your first rank in crafting, and for every 4 ranks, you may learn 1 focus from the following list. So carving, carpentry, and there's all those other ones listed on page 72. What it means is that you've got training when you're using that one, and you count as untrained with any other kind of crafting. And then you'll gain more foci as you gain levels, or as you take feats. I think there's...
Okay, sorry, I was just typing something. So when you take crafting, you pick 1 specialty.
1 focus.
Or 1 focus, and if you put more ranks in it, you can pick more.
Exactly. Or if you take a feat that allows that, or if you have a class that allows that.
Okay, because I was thinking cooking would be my crafting.
Love it.
Skill.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So under focus, put cooking. I can't remember if there's another skill that has foci as well. Let me double check here. I didn't bother dealing with that in the pre-gens, but I forgot. But that'll be an interesting part for a campaign where we're actually, gaining levels.
You guys talked about panache and prudence before, but I don't think me or Jeff had to deal with that yet, do we?
No, because you guys don't have any lifestyle.
Okay.
Yet. And I don't think any of your... what do you call it? Any of your specialty or talent gave you any...
Backpack. It's 10 silver. Okay. Not for me, no.
Okay. Like if you pick the wizard specialty, you gain, I think it's like +3 prudence. Because they're frugal, I guess.
Smart.
Okay. Cool. Oh, you got tracking too. Tracking, train animal. This is with survival. So that's pretty great. Awesome. Then, guys, do we have all the gear in as well?
How do you feel about pharmacy for crafting?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
I'd have to get some kind of a kit to make poison.
Very cool. But yeah, is it only poison, or can you make poison and other stuff as well?
It said something else, but I didn't write it all down.
Because there are a bunch of like potions and stuff in elixirs that are oils, potions, vials, and other upgrades. Oh, you need to craft elixirs. You must have the alchemy basics feat. But poisons.
Okay. Strength is 14. 120.
Wow. The poisons are all on page 165.
Okay, so I have 16 silver left. I think that's a reasonable amount of coins to have.
Do you have your like bedrolls and stuff like that as well, Jeff?
Yeah, I bought. So I got a backpack, a bedroll blanket, a water skin, fire steel, hemp rope, a large sack, and a cooking kit.
Love it. Oh yeah, because you're a cook as well. Yeah, between your foraging and your cooking, there's probably some pretty cool stuff you could craft. And actually, like those, there are those one meals I mentioned that if you consume it, it restores 1 level of fatigue.
Oh, and sorry, I have actually only 8 silver left. I forgot to subtract the flint steel. There we go. 8 silver left. Enough for a pint if we go somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to be dead broke. How am I going to have a beer when we get somewhere?
Yeah, like, Jeff, I'm looking on page 165. If you construct a hearty food thing, expending it or making a use of it decreases fatigue condition by 1 grade.
Oh, nice.
Also, if you have booze, it decreases the shaken condition by 1 grade.
Okay.
Coffee and tea grants +1 gear bonus with reflex saves for 8 hours. It explains, well, you know, in any given day I can, you know, dodge bullets like the fucking Matrix. Comfort food gives +1 to will saves for 8 hours, and filling food gives +1 to fort saves for 8 hours.
Oh, so a hearty food would mean you've probably killed some kind of animal and made a meal with it, because it says it needs to include proteins and fats.
Yeah, when the construction, like I haven't done crafting stuff, but like there are robust construction rules in this. So, like for when you're recovering shit and crafting stuff, this will be a really fun way of letting those skills matter.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then, guys, do we any other stuff we need to buy for our characters? Or is everyone got all their gear?
Stuff.
Does anybody have any ranged weapons?
I have a dagger I can throw.
Okay.
I hurl shit, so yeah, rocks, anything I can find.
Okay.
I've got polar ray, but that's close ranged.
Yeah, I think it's 15 feet for polar ray.
Yeah. I think I didn't have a. Nope, I didn't. I dropped my training in bows to take the trick. So.
Okay. So just you guys will want to consider what your strategy may be in case you're facing flying adversaries.
Run.
Considering that right now.
Says the guy with the highest land speed of all of the party.
I said hide. So.
All right,
I could trade away blunt for bows, but I'd have to buy one.
Why don't you, now that your characters are together mechanically, guys, why don't you each take a turn and tell us a little bit about your hero?
I'll have to come up with a name soon, but
let's go reverse order as we pick them. So, Dave, tell us about your character.
Well, Layla has black hair and kind of darker skin, kind of thinking almost like a Mediterranean kind of look to her.
Very Sarkissan, then.
Very Sarkissan. And yeah, she's kind of dirty and kind of rough around the edges, but very charismatic. Something you wouldn't expect from someone who's not very well presented. So, yeah, she'll hold your vision while. Oh wait, was that a dagger at your rib cage? Oh yeah.
Nice. Jeffrey?
I don't have a name yet.
You're seriously not calling him Vern?
I mean, I guess I should just call him Vern. I mean, let's just be real
Put an
here.
E in the end and it sounds medieval.
Vern does spell it with an E at the end.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he totally does.
How about Vern with VURN?
Vern. Yeah, I'll call him Vern. Vern's got he's sort of a moderately built, stocky guy. He's got curly blonde hair. Probably keeps it sort of tight, almost like but it's a little bit of an afro kind of style. He's got a golden beard and a hearty laugh. He likes to have a good time, and he likes to look out for the downtrodden.
Nice. And John?
alrighty, came up with a name. So Edren Vale is
So
more of
Vern,
a...
hold on. Vern Vale is the...
Well, we can pick a different last name if Vern
No,
doesn't like
it's
it.
fine.
He's a soldier with a bit of a magic background to him that makes him, feel hunted and a bit, hesitant to open up to people. But he follows his brother's footsteps in protecting the weak and standing up for those who can't. Got a bit of a mean streak when things are against the wall.
Nice. Awesome, guys. So that is 3 hours start to finish for us to learn about Midnight and create these characters. So that's pretty good. Annie?
Vern Vale reminds me of Vicky Vale.
Yeah. All right, then, guys. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up the session 0?
Are there encumbrance rules?
There are.
I think there are, yeah. It's right at the beginning of the gear section.
Yeah. If you get a backpack, treat your strength as higher.
Yeah.
I got one of those.
Yeah, I've got the backpack. I saw the +2 strength bonus, but I'm just trying to figure out how much weight I can actually carry.
So under the Forge chapter, I think right at the beginning is where encumbrance is. Carrying capacity is page 154. If you're carrying a light load, no issue. What's your strength, Dave?
12.
Up to 70 pounds is a light load.
Okay.
From 71 to 210 is a heavy load. Heavy load, you decrease your defense by 2, and you suffer -2 penalty with physical skills, and you only move at half speed.
Less than 70 pounds. There we go.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, I picked up a sling.
Nice. Yeah, because it's one of those things where, I can't remember what game it was we had where it's been a couple of games where folks just didn't think to grab a bow or didn't think to whatever if they're not playing the ranger or whatever. And then if you have a ranged target, especially if they fly, you're just like, well, I guess we die. There's no way of fighting these things unless we draw them down.
Right. I mean, it depends. If they have ranged or aerial attacks, yes. But if they have to, attack you while they're landing, right?
Yep. Yep,
So
absolutely.
it depends on the flying enemy. You're right though, but lots of them, yeah, you're just screwed. I've been in that position.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Are you saying
Awesome.
you need me to steal you a bow? Okay.
Well, this also fits.
Yeah, sure.
Honestly, something I do like about that you Well, more modern games are picking more of this up as well, but I kind of love that you guys start with very little in this game. It feels like you got a motivation to go and get some shit, and like the early stuff you'll scrounge will be quite consequential beyond just, yeah. Cool. All right, so one of the things I will say about Fantasy Craft, we haven't talked about, there's ways we can set up like campaign rules from the GM's chapter as well, if you're familiar with Fantasy Craft. We haven't talked about that in this. That's partly because we haven't released, I haven't decided on sort of what, where we're going to be to start the campaign and so forth. So we'll probably talk about those mechanics when we get into the game. But what we'll most likely do is use the default and then add them in as needed. The other neat thing is on the fly, I can spend action die to add some of the qualities. So there are things that I can do to make things more desperate or whatever else. And I think we'll see how those rules feel as we go. Like, for instance, when you remember in this game, when you're in a standard scene, standard adversaries cannot trigger criticals against you. But in a dramatic scene, then I can cash in. Even the lowliest goblin can trade in an action die for a crit, if I roll a crit. So, should be fun. Then, if there's nothing else you guys wish to add, we'll wrap up our session 0. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our opportunity to meet our 3 heroes about to take up arms against the shadow in the north. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign we're going to be playing, or the game or setting, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to... Actually, we don't have for either of these. We do have a 3.5, D&D 3.5 channel, and we do have an Assorted Games channel where we have been talking about Fantasy Craft, but maybe I need to make an adjustment and add one in. There's also channels dedicated to most of the games and campaigns we run on the channel, as well as things like Find a Group, GM discussion, virtual tabletop chat, non-RPG chat. There's a great, friendly, helpful, and knowledgeable community over there. You're more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. And Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs like Fantasy Craft and like the now out-of-print Midnight 2nd Edition setting. If 3.5 is your favorite brand of D&D, this is designed to be used with it, the 2nd Edition one, and it's pretty awesome. The rules for it are really interesting. If I didn't love Fantasy Craft so much, I would be tempted to make use of them, but in addition to that, ton of other stuff that they have. If they don't have something in their extensive catalog, you can put it on a want list and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code NOBLEMUSER. It's listed in the description of the video. It is all in caps, all one word. If you enter that when you check out, it'll save you 10% on any purchase of $10 or more. That'll change as of October 15th, I think, 2025. So if you're listening to this after that time, just come to one of our more recent videos. We should have the current discount code listed there. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart foes of the shadow. So John, Jeffrey, and Dave, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is really fun. These are some really interesting characters. I'm so glad you guys had as much fun making these characters in Fantasy Craft as I've had hacking these pre-gens together. That was some really interesting... It was interesting to see how much of a challenge picking some of these options were for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time as these heroes take up arms against the shadow and are joined by one more hero. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the much worse troubles that they will be facing in the lands of Eridane. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.
See ya.